You have the agenda of the UCI Congress on screen. So, of course, this agenda is a little bit shorter than the normal one, with only 15 points. And this Congress is supposed to stay within 3 hours. So it's 12 o'clock Swiss time, and we will finish by 3 p.m. Swiss time. So I'm very delighted to welcome you all here at this virtual platform, and thank you for logging in. That's a pleasure to meet with you, even it's, of course, virtually and not face-to-face. I would love to be face-to-face with you, but it's, of course, impossible in this difficult period of time. Before I will declare officially open this UCI Congress after the roll call for the voting delegates, I will give the floor to the UCI Director General, Amina Lanaya, who will explain the running of the UCI Congress, namely the voting process we have decided to implement during this virtual event, as well as the different regulations in place as set out in the UCI Constitution. And we already explained this yesterday for the voting delegates, but we had only 29 voting delegates among the 45. So we will just repeat again, and we'll make a test for the vote. So, Amina, up to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon to everyone. First of all, I hope that you and all your families are well in this very difficult period. And as explained by the President, I will go through the voting process for this Congress. So, as you know, the 189th UCI Congress is a decision-making event, and today 13 proposals will be submitted to the UCI Congress for approval. As announced, all voting will be done by secret ballots. The vote will be open for approximately 1 minute, announced by the President and indicated on screen by vote open. The voting delegates at this point will open the secure online voting system and proceed to make the selection. The closing of the vote will be announced and indicated on screen with vote closed. Once the vote has closed and been counted, the results will be displayed on screen with the total number of votes cast and the percentage and number of votes submitted for yes and no. As a reminder, the results are calculated based on votes cast in accordance with the UCI Constitution. Namely, simple majority, it's more than 50% of the votes cast, and 2/3 represent more than 66.6% of the votes cast. Once the UCI Congress concludes, a comprehensive summary document of the voting results will be made available to all the affiliated national federations. Regarding questions from the national federations, and as previously indicated, it was decided that exceptionally and due to the virtual format, national federations were to send their questions in writing only, and it was by the deadline of October 30 at the latest. These questions that we already received will be covered comprehensively under point 14, which is questions and proposals of the national federations. And as a reminder, and it's very important, there is no option to ask any questions during this session. Another reminder about the UCI Constitution, the UCI Congress may only be held if the majority, so more than 50% of the voting delegates are present. As you know, the total number of the voting delegates is 45, so it means that we need at least 23 voting delegates online today. Today, I am pleased to announce that we have 42 voting delegates who have logged in, and this means that the quorum is reached. Thank you for that. I give the floor to our President, David Lapartien, who will name the 42 voting delegates for all 5 continents.
Thank you very much, Amina, and I will go through the list of the 45 voting delegates. At this moment, we have 42 online. We just hope that we can reach the 45. From the Asian Cycling Confederation, they have 9 voting delegates. The voting delegates are from Bahrain, Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Khalifa is online. From China, Mr. Chai Chadong is online. From Japan, Mr. Tatsuo Ayashi is also online. From Indonesia, Ratcha Sapta Oktohari, and he is now the president of the National Olympic Committee, so congratulations, he is also online. From Korea, Mr. Dao Onli is online. From Jordan, Mr. Jamal Meshlej is online. From Lebanon, Monsieur Vache Zadourian is also online. From India, and the delegate is missing at the moment, so I don't know if they can try to ask him to be connected, but he was also missing yesterday, Mr. Parminder Singh Dingza. And from Pakistan is online Mr. Kokab Nadem Varesh. So 8 among the 9 voting delegates from Asia are online. From Africa, there are also 9 voting delegates. From Egypt, Mr. Ejam Zidane is online. From Ghana, Mr. Mohamed Sanoun is online. From Kenya, Mr. Julius Mwangi, also online. De la Côte d'Ivoire, Monsieur Yao Alakwame, il est en ligne. From Angola, Mr. Gilchrist Adolfo is also online. From Morocco, le général Boutayev, il est également en ligne. De la Tunisie, M. Nafouel Merchaoui, il est également en ligne. Du Sénégal, M. Michel Thioub, il est également en ligne. Et nous avons dû remplacer un délégué titulaire qui est malheureusement hospitalisé. On lui souhaite tous nos bons voeux de rétablissement, M. Amadou Hamidou Saleh du Niger. So now there is a substitute from Sudan, Mr. Khalid Bashid Khalid, but he is not online at the moment. So in Africa, we have 8 voting delegates. Only Sudan is missing. From Copachi, they have also 9 voting delegates. 9 voting delegates are online, so congratulations to Copachi. From Mexico, Mr. Edgardo Hernandez. From Argentina, Mr. Gabriel Curuchet. Du Canada, Monsieur Pierre Laflamme. From United States of America, Mr. Steve McCauley. From Colombia, Mr. Maurizio Vargas. From Dominican Republic, Mr. George Blas. From Guatemala, Mr. Manuel Rodriguez. From Brazil, Mr. José Luis Vasconcelos. And from Venezuela, as a substitute, because the voting delegate was Mr. Trevor Bele from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He was not able to attend the Congress. So the substitute is Mr. Elitzer Rojas from Venezuela. The 9 voting delegates from Copachi are online. From Oceania, we have 3 voting delegates. From Australia, Mrs. Anne Gripper, she is online. From Fiji, Mr. Patrick Kennan is not online at the moment. And from New Zealand, Mr. Jenny Gibbs is online. From Europe, the 15 voting delegates are online, so congratulations also to Europe. For Italy, Mrs. Daniela Isetti. For Russia, Mrs. Victoria Lesnikova. From Azerbaijan, Mr. Farhad Aliyev. From Lithuania, Mr. Romandas Bakutis. De la France, M. Michel Callot. De la Principauté de Monaco, M. Umberto Langelotti. De la Belgique, M. Thierry Maréchal. From Spain, Mr. Martin Garcia Alejandro. From Romania, Mr. Eduard Carol Novak. From Portugal, Mr. Delmino Pereira. From Greece, Mr. Vladimiros Petsas. From Slovakia, Mr. Peter Privara. From Czech Republic, Mr. Slavomir Svoboda. From Belarus, Mr. Vitaly Zmako. And from Malta, Mr. Joe Bajada. So we have 42 voting delegates online, and we are trying to contact the 3 last voting delegates. And in addition to this, we have at the moment 112 delegates from national federations who are connected on the virtual platform, in addition to the 42 voting delegates. So we have not far away from 150 countries. I mean, up to you now.
Thank you, Mr. President. So before we continue, we're going to test the secure online voting system with the voting delegates we have connected to the platform. And for that, I will hand over to Lumi to explain the voting platform.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ben Riley. I work for Lumi Global, based in the UK. As a company, we've had an extensive relationship with sporting federations for a number of years now, including the IOC and many others, such as yourselves. And we are here today to help you conduct the voting for your voting delegates. We'll be working alongside your scrutineer, Patrick Wilson, in order for him to make sure that the voting is done in a manner fitting for your meeting. So importantly for voting delegates who can hear me now, obviously in the Zoom meeting, the voting will be conducted in the Lumi AGM platform that you initially would have logged into. So for voting delegates, in order to participate in a vote, when the president calls for a vote, you must minimize Zoom webinar and navigate back to the Lumi AGM platform where you found the Zoom webinar link. So you must minimize Zoom webinar where you're listening and viewing the broadcast right now and navigate back to the Lumi AGM platform. Within the Lumi AGM platform, when the poll is open, the screen will change from the UCI logo and the voting options and the voting text will appear on your screen. You will be able to vote yes or no to each motion. In order to cast your vote, simply select the direction that you wish to cast your vote. So click on either yes or no. The option will become highlighted in blue and you will receive a vote received confirmation message above those options. At that point there, you know that your vote is cast. Having cast your vote, you can then navigate back to the Zoom webinar platform where we will display the results once the poll has been closed. We will close the poll once the scrutineers are happy that we have provided enough time for all voting delegates to cast their vote. So during that period, if you think you've made a mistake on your vote, you can easily and quickly change your mind simply by selecting an alternative direction. We are going to cast a test question now, but just to emphasize again, voting delegates only will need to navigate back to the Lumi AGM platform where we open the poll and the voting options will appear. If non-voting delegates navigate back to the Lumi AGM platform, they will not have the chance to vote. The options will not appear on their screen. So it is voting delegates only who will be able to cast a vote. Are you happy for me to proceed with a test question, Mr. President?
Yes, yes, please, go ahead.
So the test question that we have for everybody to vote upon is the 189th UCI Congress being broadcast live from Agile, Switzerland? I'm now going to open the poll on that question.
En direct depuis Aigle.
Открываем голосование по данному.
Para que respondan a esta pregunta.
Back to the Lumi AGM platform, where you will now see the voting options on your screen. Please select either yes or no. Select the option and the option will be highlighted in blue. You will see a vote received confirmation message on there as well. And at that point there, you know that your vote has been cast. So we're just going to give people time now to cast their vote.
I just want to remember to everybody that only the voting delegates can vote. So don't worry if you can't vote for the others. It's only for the 45 voting delegates that I called just before. They are the only one to vote according to the UCI constitution. So don't try to find the Lumi platform if you are not a voting delegate. They have a specific dedicated access to this Lumi platform. So if you are a voting delegate, please switch to the Lumi platform to go to the vote. This is a test, as we've done yesterday for the 29 voting delegates who were online yesterday.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. President. We're just waiting for a couple more people to submit their vote. So again, just to emphasize for those, you must minimize Zoom broadcast. You can do that literally by pressing the escape button if you're in full screen or clicking on the minimize button. Reopen your web browser, so where you initially logged into the Lumi AGM platform, be that in Chrome or Safari or Internet Explorer. Make sure you're within that page.
Assurez-vous
Страницу, где вы нажимали на кнопку
Cuando hagan clic en el
Display.
sur le bouton de votre navigateur et là, vous avez les options de vote oui ou non. Ça va apparaître.
Receive confirmation message, and at that point there, your vote has been cast.
Can we close the vote, or do we need to wait a little bit more?
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is now closed.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then we will
And we are now going
make
to display the
the
result.
announcement, the result of the vote. So 40 voting delegates took part voted, and 100% yes. That means that thank you very much. We just have two. So I just have a look on Patrick Wilson or Vincent Jacquet. If they just can be in touch with the two voting delegates who were not able to vote, just maybe to help them, not for this one, but for the next one that will be an official vote. This one was just for the test. But thank you very much. We have 40 votes among the 42 voting delegates. So that means that you understood the system. So thank you very much for this test.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the scrutiny and to ensure that the voting process is conducted properly and fairly. It has been decided that a scrutineer will be appointed by the UCI Congress to oversee the process. This scrutineer is Patrick Wilson, is the head of the UCI Legal Services. Many of you know Patrick. Is with us today. So he will be the one responsible for checking that the data on the secure online voting system is accurate, specifically the names of the voting delegates. He verifies and confirms the results of the votes before they are displayed on screen, and order an extension of the time allowed to vote if the number of votes cast is not sufficient within the 1 minute. So the UCI Congress is called upon to approve this appointment, and without further ado, let's proceed. So now I give back the floor to our president, David Lapartien, for this vote.
Yeah, thank you very much. So Patrick is with us. I think we can. Patrick is the head of the legal service. Maybe you know him or maybe not, which is sometimes better to not to have to deal with the head of the legal service. So Patrick is with us. I don't know if you can see Patrick on the screen. No, I have Lumi on screen. I don't know if you have. If it's okay for. Okay, it's not what I have on my screen. This is why. Okay, it's good for me to have maybe what is the voting delegates can see. So thank you very much. So Patrick, we will propose Patrick as a scrutineer for this UCI Congress. So then we will have to formally approve this, and this is not a test. This is a real vote. So the vote is now open. So please proceed for the UCI voting delegates. If you agree to have Patrick Wilson as an official scrutineer for this UCI Congress. He brought his tie with him because he wanted to be sure to have your full support. I just have a look on Lumi. Can we close the vote, or do we need to still have the vote open?
Mr. President, I think we can close the poll.
Okay, so the vote is now closed. So thank you for the vote, and we will have the result. So 40 voting delegates took part in the vote and 100% yes. So thank you very much. So Patrick has been appointed as a scrutineer. So now I can officially declare open this UCI Congress. And we have further to the 42 voting delegates present online. We have at the moment 112 delegates logged in at the moment from the national federations. So you have all received the agenda of the Congress. So let's move now to item number 2, which is admissions, suspensions, and exclusions of national federations. We will start with the exclusions of national federations. You were able to read the reports, the full reports, and all the documents relevant to the proposed exclusions of these 3 national federations in the Congress file sent to you on 5 October. This is not a pleasure, of course, to propose exclusion of national federations. You will see immediately after that we will propose for these 3 countries, if you agree with the exclusions, we will propose immediately to have 3 affiliations. That means that we will still have a national federation in these different countries. But it was a long process, to be honest. And thank you to the continental confederations. It has been sometimes a long investigation from our side. Sometimes for wrongdoings. The first one is the Chile National Federation. I've been in touch with the National Olympic Committee. I've been in touch with the Pan American Olympic Committee. We have been in touch with all the stakeholders. Our friend Arturo Lopez from the UCI Management Committee visited the country, all the stakeholders. He brought a full report in front of the UCI Management Committee, and unanimously the UCI Management Committee proposed to you today the exclusion of the National Federation from Chile. The same, and we sent some specific envoy, Enrique Jensen and Enrico de la Casa in Bulgaria and Montenegro. And based on these reports also, the UCI Management Committee proposed by unanimity the exclusion of l'Union Cycliste Bulgare, the Bulgarian Cycling Union, and the Cycling Association of Montenegro. We will have to now proceed to the vote. You have 3 different votes in the same vote. The first one is in accordance with Article 20, paragraph 1A and C, to approve the exclusion of Federación Ciclista de Chile from COPACI as a member of UCI. And you've got also the question in French, conformément à l'article 20 des statuts de l'UCI, il vous est demandé l'approbation de l'exclusion de la Fédération cycliste du Chili en tant que membre de l'UCI. The second question is regarding the same in accordance with our constitution to approve the exclusion of the Bulgarian Cycling Union as a member of the UCI. Donc, conformément à l'article 20, paragraphes 1A et C, il vous est demandé d'approuver l'exclusion de l'Union cycliste bulgare en tant que membre de l'UCI. And question 3, in accordance with the Article 20, the same article, to approve the exclusion of the Cycling Association of Montenegro, UEC, as a member of the UCI. Donc, conformément à l'article 20, il vous est demandé d'approuver l'exclusion de l'Association cycliste du Monténégro, membre de l'UEC, en tant que membre de l'UCI. Each of these proposals will be voted on individually on the secure online voting platform. The result, once the vote is closed, will also be displayed individually for each proposal. The voting delegates, please switch over the online voting platform. And the question, does the Congress approve the exclusion of these national federations? So the vote is now open.
delegates and reminding them to navigate back to the Lumi AGM platform to cast their vote, and they are able to vote upon all three motions at the same time here. Remember to vote for all three motions. Thank you.
Okay, so please switch to the Lumi motion, and you have three votes in the same question. So three different votes. So please proceed with the three votes. Can we close the vote? Okay, the vote is now closed. So for Chile, 39 yes, 1 no. So the National Federation from Chile is excluded from the UCI. For Bulgarian Cycling Union, 39 yes, 1 no. The Bulgarian Cycling Union is excluded from the UCI. Cycling Association of Montenegro, 39 yes, 1 no. The Cycling Association of Montenegro is excluded from the UCI. So thank you for voting. It will be more positive. I'm delighted that the UCI Congress has 4 new affiliations to consider today. Indeed, wishing to ensure the continuity of cycling activities in the countries whose national federations have just been excluded, it has been decided to affiliate 3 national entities on these nations. I'm also delighted that a brand new national federation has been added to the list. So you have 4 requests for affiliation. The first one is the Federación Deportiva Nacional de Ciclismo de Chile in Copachi. The candidature file meets the requirements of the UCI Constitution. Everything is in accordance. So thank you very much to the National Olympic Committee of Chile for the full support from the government of Chile, to the International Relations Department, and to our friend also Arturo Lopez. The second one is a Bulgarian Cycling Federation from the UEC. The candidature file meets the requirements of the UCI Constitution, so we are ready for affiliation. And the Cycling Federation of Montenegro, the candidature file meets the requirements of the UCI Constitution. So these 3 federations will take place in a country where we already had a national federation. But I'm also very pleased to propose to you today to have another member, and then we will join 197 members in the UCI if you say yes. This is a Palestinian Cycling Federation in Asia. The candidature is also meets with the requirements of the UCI Constitution. Everything is in order, and we are very happy to also to welcome our friend from Palestine today, from the Palestinian Cycling Federation. So each of these proposals will be voted individually on the secure online voting platform, and the result, once the vote is closed, will also be displayed individually for each proposal. So voting delegates, please switch over the secure online voting platform Lumi, and the question is that the Congress approve these 4 affiliations, and you have 4 votes. So please, the vote is now open. sorry, my microphone was not open. So for the admission of the Federation Deportiva Nacional de Ciclismo de Chile, 41 vote, 41 yes. So they are now full member of the UCI, and congratulations. The Bulgarian Cycling Union, 41 vote, 41 yes. So they are now part of the UCI. Congratulations. For Montenegro Cycling Federation, 41 vote, 41 yes. So they are also a full member of the UCI. Once again, congratulations. And for Palestine, 40 voting delegates, 40 yes. So Palestine Cycling Federation is now full member of the UCI. So congratulations to all these national federations. They have been, approved by 100%. So congratulations to these 4 new members, and you have the 4 flags. As you know, normally in a normal Congress, they would be welcome on stage to receive their official certificate in front of all the national federations. I will propose to you that, of course, we will send a certificate, but next year in the Congress in Belgium, we will formally welcome them on stage to receive their official certificate in front of the 197 national federations. And I'm very happy that we are now close to the 200 national federations. So now I will switch to the point number 3, which is the speech from the President. As I said, this Congress will be most of the time in English, but this year I decided to respect also the 2 languages from the UCI. I will make my speech in French, and Amina will speak in English. Usually it's the opposite side, but we decided also to respect the 2 languages. So if you don't speak French, you have also to choose the English language on your Zoom platform to flow my speech. So I will move to the C'est bon, je peux y aller. Messieurs les anciens présidents de l'Union cycliste internationale, cher Pat, cher Brian, Mesdames et Messieurs les présidents des confédérations continentales, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du comité directeur de l'UCI, Messieurs les vice-présidents d'honneur, Mesdames et Messieurs les présidents et représentants des fédérations nationales, Mesdames et Messieurs les délégués votants, Mesdames et Messieurs et chers amis, j'ai l'honneur et le plaisir de m'adresser à vous aujourd'hui dans le cadre du 189e congrès de l'Union cycliste internationale pour prononcer le traditionnel message du président de l'UCI. Ce sera cette fois sous forme condensée d'environ 15 minutes pour tenir l'horaire de ce congrès et une forme assez inhabituelle. En effet, malheureusement, nous n'avons cette fois pas pu nous réunir physiquement, comme nous le faisons avec plaisir chaque année, dans le cadre des championnats du monde sur route, et croyez-le bien, je le regrette vivement, mais je suis néanmoins heureux que nous puissions tenir ce congrès virtuel et d'être en quelque sorte tous ensemble. Je salue la participation aujourd'hui à notre congrès des représentants de près de 150 fédérations nationales sur un total de 197 depuis l'affiliation, il y a quelques minutes, de nos amis de la Palestine. Avec l'actuelle pandémie du Covid-19, nous traversons tous, depuis de longs mois, une période de crise inédite qui a des conséquences extrêmement sérieuses sur nos activités respectives. Je tiens à vous dire, avant toute chose, et parce que c'est le plus important, comme l'a dit notre directrice générale, que j'espère très sincèrement que vous vous portez bien et que, sur le plan personnel, vous et vos proches n'avez pas été trop touchés par cette crise du coronavirus. Signe du caractère extrêmement grave de cette situation, les Jeux olympiques de Tokyo 2020, comme vous le savez, ont dû être reportés d'1 an. Si l'on accepte les 2 guerres mondiales qui avaient entraîné l'annulation des Jeux olympiques, ça n'était encore jamais arrivé. Le cyclisme a été touché de plein fouet. La crise sanitaire a affecté tous les aspects de notre sport, de la tenue des épreuves de tous les niveaux, à l'entraînement des coureurs, le plus souvent confinés à des degrés divers, en passant par nos activités institutionnelles de terrain. Si l'on regarde le calendrier international de l'UCI, nous avons perdu 70% de nos courses qui y figuraient. C'est évidemment très problématique pour nos fédérations nationales, pour l'UCI et pour le Centre mondial du cyclisme, notre centre d'entraînement et de formation ici en Suisse. Mais le cyclisme et l'UCI font figure de leader du monde sportif face à la crise du coronavirus. Notre sport a donné l'exemple en termes de reprise d'activité. Nous avons su travailler, tous ensemble, dans l'unité, pour redéfinir rapidement nos calendriers, et nous avons élaboré et mis en œuvre un protocole sanitaire très complet, et non pas simplement édicter des recommandations. Tout cela a rendu possible la tenue d'événements. Nous pouvons également considérer comme une grande réussite le fait que nos championnats du monde aient pu se tenir, et aussi que les championnats du monde de mountain bike aient pu avoir lieu, respectivement à Imola en Italie pour la route il y a 1 mois et demi et à Leogang en Autriche il y a quelques semaines. C'est d'ailleurs avec beaucoup de fierté que nous avons accueilli à Imola le président du comité international olympique, M. Thomas Bach. Celui-ci s'est montré impressionné par la qualité de notre événement en dépit du contexte très difficile dans lequel il a été organisé. Je tiens ici à remercier le professeur Xavier Bicard, le directeur médical de l'UCI, qui présentera son rapport sur les activités médicales de l'UCI dans le courant de l'après-midi. Merci pour son travail. Il a travaillé nuit et jour, durant des semaines, pour élaborer un protocole sanitaire solide pour l'ensemble des courses du calendrier et l'ensemble des disciplines. Il est aujourd'hui considéré comme une référence par le monde sportif. Même le CIO s'en inspirera pour les Jeux Olympiques l'an prochain. Je tiens également à remercier du fond du cœur la Fédération italienne de cyclisme et son président Renato Di Rocco, qui est aussi mon vice-président à l'Union cycliste internationale, pour leur rôle respectif dans l'organisation des championnats du monde sur route 2020. Sans eux, rien n'aurait été possible. L'année 2020 s'annonce complexe et pleine d'incertitudes. Personne ne peut dire exactement aujourd'hui quelle sera la situation dans quelques mois au niveau sanitaire. De plus, la pandémie de coronavirus a des conséquences financières importantes sur notre sport et j'y reviendrai. Mais nous savons que le coronavirus vous a durement affecté aussi. Nous en sommes pleinement conscients et je veux vous assurer que nous maintiendrons nos actions de solidarité pour que vous puissiez continuer à remplir vos missions de développement du cyclisme comme vous le faites sur vos territoires. Notre directrice générale, Amina Lanaya, vous parlera dans quelques minutes des conséquences de la crise du coronavirus sur l'administration de l'UCI et sur nos activités. Les confédérations continentales. S'agissant de la transparence et la bonne gouvernance, nous franchirons dans quelques jours, le 15 novembre prochain, une étape importante avec l'adoption de nouveaux statuts pour l'ensemble des confédérations continentales. 4 d'entre elles les ont déjà approuvés. Ces nouveaux statuts assureront la transparence des élections au sein des confédérations quant à l'élection du président, des membres de leur comité directeur et des membres candidats au comité directeur de l'UCI. Les opérations électorales seront dorénavant supervisées par une commission électorale présidée par un membre indépendant nommé par la commission d'éthique de l'UCI selon un cahier des charges clairement défini. Parmi les points qu'on retrouvera dorénavant dans les statuts des confédérations continentales, les exigences en matière de représentation des deux sexes seront particulièrement importantes. Des exigences également en termes d'audit financier y figureront. Avec leur nouveau statut, nos confédérations continentales auront ainsi un meilleur cadre pour les élections au printemps prochain. Merci au président de les avoir soutenus. Le cyclisme féminin. Heureusement, l'année 2020 ne s'est pas limitée à la pandémie et à ses effets négatifs sur notre sport et nos activités. 2020 a notamment été une grande année. L'année 2020 a été notamment une grande année pour le cyclisme féminin, qui connaît depuis quelques années un grand développement et une professionnalisation très réjouissante. 2 exemples. C'est en 2020 que la nouvelle organisation du cyclisme professionnel féminin est pleinement entrée en vigueur. Avec ses 4 divisions d'épreuves, UCI Women's World Tour, UCI Pro Series, les classes 1 et les classes 2, et 2 types d'équipes, les UCI Pro Team et les Women's et les équipes continentales femmes UCI, avec aussi et c'est un pas important, la mise en place d'un salaire minimum et d'autres prestations pour les coureuses, notamment en termes d'assurance sociale. Et si la crise a touché le secteur, nous sommes très heureux de la nouvelle venue d'équipes et de nouvelles courses. J'aimerais mentionner, par exemple, l'apparition dès l'an prochain, ça devait être cette année, mais ça n'a pas pu être le cas à cause du coronavirus, dans le UCI Women's World Tour, par exemple, de la course, la version féminine de Paris-Roubaix. C'est aussi l'intégration d'un nouveau monument, dès lors, dans le cyclisme féminin, et c'est une excellente chose. Les coureuses auront aussi, quant à elles, l'opportunité de vivre cet enfer du Nord. Les discussions sont aussi avancées pour mettre en place un Tour de France féminin appelé à devenir une grande course par étapes comme nous en avons dans d'autres pays, et je pense particulièrement à nos amis italiens. Ces nouveautés viendront renforcer l'attrait du cyclisme sur route féminin auprès d'un public plus large. Le mouvement est en marche, nous poursuivrons nos efforts pour développer le cyclisme féminin. Les Jeux Olympiques. Dès l'annonce de l'annulation des Jeux Olympiques 2020, qui représentent une source de revenus importante pour l'Union cycliste internationale, nous avons travaillé main dans la main avec le CIO sur le report des Jeux Olympiques à 2021. Ce report a des conséquences lourdes sur les fédérations nationales, sur les athlètes et sur les finances de l'UCI. Nous n'avons pas touché cette année, comme le prévoient normalement les contributions, 22 millions de dollars américains qui nous arrivent après les Jeux Olympiques. Cela représente un manque considérable pour l'UCI dont le budget se monte à 47 millions de francs suisses, c'est-à-dire 51 millions de dollars américains. Heureusement, et je remercie ici le CIO qui nous a alloué une avance de 5 millions de dollars américains sur la somme que nous percevrons en 2021. S'agissant des Jeux Olympiques toujours, nous avons soumis un certain nombre de propositions pour le programme des Jeux Olympiques de Paris en 2024. En particulier, nous avons proposé que les quotas soient exactement les mêmes pour les hommes et pour les femmes, notamment là où ils n'étaient pas encore, c'est-à-dire le cyclisme sur route. Nous avons proposé l'introduction du contre-la-montre par équipe mixte relais et du cross-country sur circuit court en mountain bike. Deux événements qui ont pour but de renforcer le poids olympique de notre sport, mais la décision appartient au Comité international olympique et je souscris à l'idée du président d'éviter le gigantisme. Nous avons aussi proposé une augmentation de quotas pour le BMX Freestyle Park. Le programme des Jeux Olympiques de Paris 2024 sera connu à l'issue de la session du bureau exécutif du CIO au mois de décembre prochain, mais nous sommes globalement confiants. Le cyclisme est un sport important qui se renforce au sein du mouvement olympique. Pour rester dans le domaine olympique, le président du Comité international olympique, Thomas Bach, avait prévu de participer à notre congrès, initialement prévu à Aigle, qui devait se tenir le 25 septembre prochain, et je tiens à l'en remercier. Il est venu à Imola, mais malgré ce changement de programme, le président a tenu à nous adresser un petit message vidéo depuis le siège du Comité international olympique, et je vous propose de l'écouter.
Dear President of UCI, my dear friend David Lapartien, dear delegates, dear Olympic friends. The fact that this UCI Congress is taking place virtually is itself a reflection of the unprecedented situation that all of us are confronted with because of the global coronavirus crisis. This is why I would like to congratulate UCI under the great leadership of David Lapartien for having overcome the many challenges in a creative and effective way to make this Congress possible. This Congress, which I would have loved to attend in person. As I could see for myself recently at the UCI Road Cycling World Championships in Imola, you have demonstrated this ability to overcome challenges also when it comes to organizing live sports events. My heartfelt congratulations once again for having put together these World Championships in record time and in a very safe way. It was fantastic to experience the return of live sports thanks to this great spirit of all of you the cycling community. UCI has certainly set the bar very high. Thanks to the excellent organization and strict health protocols for everyone involved, you demonstrated that sport can be organized safely, even under the ongoing health restrictions. This is a very important signal for the entire world of sport, giving us confidence in our preparations for future events, including the postponed Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. With this in mind, I'm sure that one of the topics of discussion at your Congress will be how and under what conditions the postponed Olympic Games will take place in around 9 months from now. In this respect, I can reassure you that we are working at full speed with our Japanese partners and friends, along with the international federations, including, of course, your federation, UCI, to ensure safe Olympic Games that are fit for the post-coronavirus world. As we saw at your own World Championships at Imola, the health and safety of all concerned has always been and remains our top priority. Even in these ever-changing times, many of the operational details that are on top of your minds are still being worked on. But please, rest assured that we are focused on developing a toolbox of COVID countermeasures for every possible scenario. In this way, we are prepared for safe Olympic Games, whatever conditions the world will be facing next summer. In this way, your athletes can make their Olympic dreams come true in Tokyo. Making the Olympic Games fit for the post-coronavirus world also means that we all have to adapt to the new environment. It will take flexibility, creativity, and, yes, also sacrifices from all of us to overcome these challenges and evolving circumstances. This is why I would like to thank all of you for all the important work that you are doing to prepare the cycling community for the post-coronavirus world. Whether organizing safe sports events or adapting to the context of optimized and simplified Olympic Games, or trailblazing a path in esports, UCI has always demonstrated flexibility, creativity, and leadership when it mattered most. Therefore, we are happy to have UCI as such a reliable partner on our side. We have seen over the past weeks and months that whether in sport or in the many challenges in life, we are always stronger together. In this Olympic spirit of solidarity, I wish you fruitful discussions and a successful Congress. See you in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Merci beaucoup. Je tiens à remercier ici devant vous le Comité international olympique et son président pour le soutien précieux à notre sport et à son développement. Et merci pour ces jolis mots adressés à l'Union cycliste internationale. En matière de lutte antidopage, c'est un domaine sur lequel nous avons continué de progresser comme toujours. Comme nous l'avons annoncé, les activités antidopage opérationnelles de l'UCI seront transférées de la Fondation antidopage du cyclisme, la CADF, à l'agence de contrôle indépendant, l'ITA. Ce transfert est en cours, se passe bien et il sera effectif au 1er janvier 2021. Le directeur de l'ITA, M. Benjamin Cohen, vous présentera un petit peu plus tard dans ce congrès l'institution qu'il dirige et ce qu'elle amènera particulièrement à notre cyclisme. Ce transfert marque une nouvelle étape dans le renforcement de l'indépendance de l'antidopage dans le cyclisme. Je rappelle que l'ITA a été créée sous l'impulsion du mouvement olympique avec le soutien de l'Agence mondiale antidopage et que sa mission est d'offrir des services antidopage indépendants des pouvoirs sportifs et politiques. Ce transfert marque aussi une progression vers un renforcement du renseignement, autrement dit l'intelligence. Cet aspect est capital pour les programmes antidopage et pour qu'ils soient efficaces, à l'heure où le dopage s'inscrit dans un environnement qui ne connaît aucune frontière, ni entre les sports, ni entre les États. En collaboration avec l'ITA, l'UCI aura sa place à l'avant-garde de l'antidopage comme elle l'a toujours eu. Cycling e-sport. Même si nous vivons une période compliquée, nous réfléchissons toujours à un élargissement de nos activités. La tenue des premiers championnats du monde de cyclisme e-sport UCI se tiendront les 9 décembre prochains en partenariat avec la plateforme Zwift. Ceci constitue une belle illustration de l'innovation dont notre sport est capable. La période d'arrêt des compétitions que nous avons connue a très certainement permis de démontrer tout le potentiel du cyclisme e-sport et pas uniquement dans un contexte de confinement. Le cyclisme est lui aussi un leader et cette position a été reconnue à travers ma nomination par le CIO à la fonction de président du groupe de liaison du Comité international olympique sur le e-sport et le gaming. La réforme du cyclisme sur piste. Cette réforme vise à redynamiser cette discipline et c'est un autre gros chantier de l'année 2020 qui a franchi toutes les étapes avec succès. La nouvelle organisation du cyclisme sur piste se concrétisera en 2021. Pour rappel, les premiers éléments de la réforme sont les suivants. La transformation de la Coupe du Monde piste en Coupe des Nations UCI et une série qui comptera 3 manches qui sera organisée de juillet à septembre. Le déplacement des championnats du monde UCI de février au mois d'octobre et l'apparition d'une Ligue mondiale du cyclisme, d'une UCI Track Champions League, dont la première édition aura lieu de novembre 2021 à février 2022. La Coupe des Nations Piste UCI sera disputée principalement par équipe nationale et permettra à nos fédérations de qualifier des coureurs aux championnats du monde et aux Jeux olympiques sur un nombre limité de manches, pour éviter aussi de multiplier les coûts pour nos fédérations nationales qui avaient pointé cet élément à l'Union cycliste internationale. La Ligue mondiale du cyclisme sur piste visera à élargir l'attractivité du cyclisme sur piste à travers un produit et un format dynamique. Ce sera formaté pour la télévision comme pour les spectateurs présents sur l'événement dans des choses simples à comprendre, à suivre, y compris pour les nouveaux publics. Un partenariat a été conclu avec le groupe de médias Discovery qui est chargé avec ses différentes entités, notamment Eurosport Events et Global Cycling Network, de la gestion, de la production télé et de la distribution de cette nouvelle série. L'expertise et le savoir-faire reconnus contribueront dans une large mesure au développement et à la popularisation du cyclisme sur piste. Les championnats du monde UCI. Nous sommes heureux d'avoir été en mesure d'attribuer cette année au total 14 nouveaux championnats du monde UCI, y compris pour la période 2025-2027. C'est aussi une réussite dans un monde d'incertitude. Nous reviendrons plus tard sur ces mondiaux qui sont attribués dans la partie spécifique en fin de congrès qui leur sera dédiée. Les finances. La crise, je le disais il y a quelques minutes, affecte les finances de l'UCI. Je ne vais pas entrer dans les détails. Notre directeur financier, Jérémy Conrad Pickles, vous exposera la situation un petit peu plus tard dans la journée. Mais je tiens à vous dire que grâce aux mesures que nous avons prises très rapidement, notre fédération a bien résisté. Notre directrice générale, Amina Lanaya, vous détaillera ces mesures dans quelques minutes. Nous disposons par ailleurs de réserves significatives dans lesquelles nous avons pu puiser un petit peu pour assurer notre fonctionnement dans cette période de crise dont nous ne sommes pas encore partis. À ce jour, nous n'avons pas d'inquiétude à court terme. Cela dit, il est important que les Jeux olympiques de 2021 puissent avoir lieu. Et de manière générale, nous continuons à surveiller nos dépenses de près tout en faisant ce qui est de notre pouvoir pour continuer d'assurer nos missions prioritaires. Et justement, la solidarité. La pandémie mondiale de Covid-19 a obligé l'UCI et le Centre mondial du cyclisme à adapter et repenser la manière dont les projets de solidarité sont mis en œuvre. Nous avons décidé d'annuler certains camps d'entraînement. Pour les programmes de formation, en revanche, une plateforme en ligne a été développée pour dispenser les cours de niveau 1 sous forme virtuelle, et en particulier les cours de commissaires nationaux route, les commissaires d'entraîneurs et les cours d'entraîneurs et les cours de mécaniciens. Avec cette offre en ligne, l'UCI a permis à ces fédérations nationales, quelle que soit la situation sanitaire, de bénéficier d'une formation et donc de soutien précieux pour développer le cyclisme dans leur région. De plus, un total de 2000 francs suisses ont ainsi été économisés grâce à l'élaboration de ce nouveau format en ligne. Enfin, et même si la pandémie a entraîné des retards, il est prévu que le don de 300 vélos soit effectué d'ici à la fin de cette année. En outre, le projet de partenariat est en cours avec l'équipementier Scott pour fournir aux fédérations nationales, dans le cadre de leur projet de développement, une série de vélos d'entrée de gamme fabriqués spécialement et qui seront aux couleurs du Centre mondial du cyclisme de l'UCI. En conclusion, je dirais que l'année a été très compliquée, mais je crois que nous sommes d'accord sur un point. D'accord sur ce point. Toutefois, et nous ne pouvons que nous en réjouir, les grandes compétitions de la plupart des disciplines majeures de l'UCI ont pu se dérouler et nous ont offert des grands moments d'émotion. Je vous invite à les revivre à travers une vidéo que nous avons préparée et qui retrace les grands moments de la saison 2020.
I can't believe it.
It's unbelievable.
Amazing! What do you think? It's awesome!
In the centre, Mathieu van der Poel looking for a really strong start. An exemplary display of pure power.
I think it's one of the hardest races I've ever done.
World champion, Mathieu van der Poel!
I can describe it how it feels to finally be world champion.
Germany launch a final bid for glory, but look at this. One lap to go, France still on the front, Germany making every effort they can.
That was incredible. I'm really happy.
It was a dream of my career, you know. It's just a dream day for me.
Whoa, 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 that's a crash. Big one. Pauline Ferrand-Prévot is your 2020 UCI Mountain Bike Cross Country World Champion.
Thank you very much for this wonderful video. Je voudrais vous dire, avant de terminer, que nos rencontres impossibles cette année m'ont beaucoup manqué et je me réjouis beaucoup de vous revoir en face à face et non pas seulement à distance l'année prochaine. Je vous donne donc rendez-vous en 2021 en Belgique, dans les Flandres, pour le congrès du centenaire de nos championnats du monde sur route. Je tenais enfin à remercier les membres de mon comité directeur et particulièrement mes 3 vice-présidents, le docteur Mohamed Ouaguiazam, Renato Di Rocco et José Manuel Pelaez, pour leur soutien si précieux dans cette période compliquée. Je remercie aussi les collaborateurs de l'UCI et les collaborateurs de l'UCI pour leur engagement au quotidien, toute l'année. Et puis, bien entendu, pour leur travail et pour tout ce qu'ils ont réussi à faire pour populariser notre sport. Un grand merci spécial à notre directeur des sports, Peter Van den Abel, pour sa première année dans la fonction. J'ai toujours pu compter sur son expertise et son implication dans ces temps difficiles. Je tiens enfin à remercier tout particulièrement notre directrice générale, Amina Lanaya, pour sa réactivité et son investissement au service de l'UCI dans cette période de crise. Vous avez, Amina, mon plus total soutien. Et je souhaite enfin à toutes et à tous un excellent congrès 2020 et prenez soin de vous. Merci beaucoup. So now we will move to the point number 4 on the agenda, which is the report on the UCI activities in 2019 by the Director General. So I will pass the floor to Amina Lanaya.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear Presidents, dear National Federation delegates, dear member of the Management Committee, dear Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen. You have just heard our President, David Lapartien, underline how difficult this year has been. As he said, and as you know, every stakeholder in our sport has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Unfortunately, this pandemic continues to hit hard today. These are challenging times that we have never seen before, but the UCI has continued its efforts to try to ensure a successful 2020 cycling season. Our goal has been to provide good cycling competitions and effective management of the sport. We have also continued to work towards the objectives of Agenda 2022, which you approved at the Congress 2 years ago in Innsbruck. I will spend the next few minutes talking about the following 2 aspects. Firstly, the measures our sport has adopted faced with the pandemic. And as you know, these measures have required a lot of our energy and resources. And secondly, the many advances we have made this year in spite of everything. In response to the global health situation, the UCI has always been quick to take the necessary actions. We have used information and scientific knowledge at hand. We have also consulted the relevant stakeholders and stayed in constant contact with them. In February already, with the Chinese National Federation, we decided to postpone the races to take place in China. At the same time, we were also trying to prevent the spread of the virus at UCI events. This was necessary because some national delegations came from countries regarded at risk by the World Health Organization. As the situation got worse, we constantly adapted our measures. Then, in late March, it was decided to suspend all events on the UCI international calendar. This decision was made for events across all disciplines and categories. UCI World Tour and UCI Women's World Tour events were suspended until August. All remaining world events and events for other disciplines were suspended until July. And meanwhile, the UCI headquarters were closed for several months and we started working from home. As soon as the decision was made to put the season on hold, we started working on a plan to resume racing. This plan was based on 2 key elements: a health protocol for when cycling competition resumes, and new revised calendars. These were major tasks, so we had to get down to work very quickly because we needed to be ready when competitions could resume. During this period, events were constantly being cancelled or postponed. We had to deal with this and provide systematic notification of all changes to use the UCI international calendar. This was done by updating tables posted on the UCI website And with regard to UCI World Championships, UCI World Cup, the UCI World Tour, and the UCI Women's World Tour, these announcements were made in press releases that were also published on the UCI website. The table shown on the screen highlights the percentage of competitions cancelled in each discipline. As of late of October, 53% of events on the UCI international calendar had been cancelled. This figure varies between 26% and 72% depending on the discipline. For the UCI series, so UCI World Cup rounds and UCI World Tour and UCI Women's World Tour events, the percentage of cancellation is even higher. Here we're talking about 64%. We were fortunate that from the end of January to the beginning of March, you could stage 3 UCI World Championships. Cyclocross in Dubendorf, Switzerland, paracycling track in Milton, Canada, and track in Berlin, Germany. Indeed, the track cycling season was successfully completed with our flagship event taking place in Germany. But for other disciplines, between 47% and 100% of events in our UCI series were cancelled. No UCI World Cup rounds for BMX freestyle, trials, or paracycling road took place at all. As a result of all the cancellations and postponements, nearly 3/4 of our events did not take place as initially scheduled. Fortunately, and due to the massive work we carried out, most of our major events took place. And here, I would like to sincerely thank our medical director, Xavier Bigard, who in a very short period of time drew up our health protocols in close collaboration with the sports department and all our stakeholders. The UCI events that have been staged with success include the UCI Road World Championships in Imola, Italy, the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships in Leogang, Austria, and UCI Mountain Bike Marathon in Sakarya, Turkey. We also enjoy the Free Grand Tour and the major classics such as Milan-San Remo, Tour of Lombardia, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, and Tour of Flanders. It can be considered a true achievement that these important events could take place. And it was also a success that we could come up with new calendars for disciplines such as road and mountain bike. When the Vuelta 2020 and the Madrid Challenge finish in 3 days' time, we will be able to be proud of ourselves again. And let's be honest, it's a tremendous undertaking that the UCI World Tour and the UCI Women's World Tour could take place in 2020. We never gave up, and we decided to draw up these new calendars in the hope that the health situation would improve in the near future. And we were right to do so. And let's not forget that it's because of the collaboration of all stakeholders that our sport was able to overcome the crisis. Yes, it was a small miracle that our Road World Championships took place this year. I remind you that they should have been held in Aigle-en-Martigny in Switzerland from September 20 to 27. And on August 12, less than 6 weeks before the event was due to start, the organizing committee and the Swiss authorities decided to cancel these World Championships. Of course, we were very disappointed by the last-minute cancellation of this event. We had been preparing for the event for more than 2 years. And just imagine, it was going to be symbolic with the racing taking place so close to our UCI headquarters. It was also going to be an historic occasion to host delegates for our 197 National Federation for the UCI Congress inside the velodrome of the UCI World Cycling Center. Nevertheless, we rolled up our sleeves and got on with the job of finding a new organizer. And in this respect, we were delighted to receive 5 excellent bids. As you know, Imola was chosen to host our biggest annual event, but we had only a few short weeks to organize it. The event was obviously different to previous editions. We had to drastically reduce the number of spectators at certain parts of the course. We had to do without many of the things that make our World Championships a popular celebration. There was no fan zone, there were no meet and greets, no exhibition. Despite the later word of this word, the UCI insisted as well on massive roadworks. No less than 16 kilometers of road were re-asphalted to ensure excellent and safe racing. Our thanks go to the local organizing committee, which did a fantastic job to meet tight deadlines and provide a great event. Much credit goes also to the Italian Cycling Federation and its president, Renato Di Rocco, our UCI vice president. Their vision, commitment, and investment were valuable. Italy made us proud, and what better reward than the amazing victory of Filippo Ganna in the men elite individual time trial on the second day of competition. Grazie, grazie mille Italia. Imola was indeed a huge success with the participation of 54 national federations. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the national federations involved for your efforts to have your athletes on the start line. The quality of the racing was excellent. The race route was superb, and we invested more resources than usual in TV production and social media coverage. Many broadcasters were full of praise for the quality of the TV images. Although there were fewer spectators on site, we've never had as many people watching on the screens and following on social media. Ultimately, the 2020 UCI World Championships were seen by many as one of the best in recent years. Of course, our World Championships are usually an occasion to meet you, our National Federation delegates. We're sad this was not possible this year, but we can take a lot of satisfaction from the event. Thomas Bach, the president of the IOC, came to Imola in person and congratulated us and our Italian partners on pulling off a miracle. I can tell you that cycling did earn some precious points with the IOC. As our president explained earlier, the cancellation of many competitions and the postponements of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games have had a major financial impact on the UCI. This was another area in which we had to react quickly. We needed to operate in an economic environment that was suffering badly. In response, we launched a cost-cutting plan in April to compensate for the drop in revenue. The measures we took included a pay cut for UCI senior staff, UCI president, and UCI management committee members. All the UCIs and UCI World Cycling Centers 130 employees placed on full or partial furlough, a freeze on recruitment, a review of the projects and objectives for 2020 and the years to come, and all our management committee and commission meetings and our seminars held online. Looking ahead, it is vital for our sport that the Games can take place in 2021. Revenue from the Olympics is essential for our sport. It is invested in our development and solidarity programs for the continental confederations and national federations. It also allows us to run the UCI World Cycling Center. Despite the crisis, we have, however, been able to limit the financial damage in 2020. And this is thanks mainly to our sound management and to the staging of our UCI main World Championships. Happily, there was more to 2020 than dealing with the negative effects of the coronavirus. Decisions were finalized on many projects, including our major sporting reforms. Our president spoke about them just a few minutes ago, and I will only mention them briefly. Concerning road, the new organization of women's professional cycling came into effect this year. The future looks bright, with the creation of a women's Paris-Roubaix, and in 2022 of a women's Tour de France. Efforts to make women's cycling more professional have seen the foundation of UNIO, a new organization for women's team. And track cycling is set for a revamp in 2021, as also explained by the president. As for cyclocross, the new look UCI World Cup will get underway at the end of this month. And Tabor, in the Czech Republic, will host the first round. However, and as you know, the calendar has been shortened due to the health crisis. A few days later, in December, we'll be able to watch the very first UCI Cycling Esports World Championships. These few examples show that COVID-19 has not stopped our sport from continuing its development. Cycling continues to evolve in order to become even more popular and more global. This crisis should not prevent us from moving forward, but for this, we must identify our priorities. To remain up to date, our federation must concentrate on cycling esport and everything that concerns rider data. And to ensure we are at the forefront, we have just created the new position of Innovation Manager. This position will be filled by the former professional Australian road and track cyclist Michael Rogers, triple individual time trial UCI World Champion in 2003, 2004, and 2005. At last year's Congress in Harrogate, I talked to you about the changes to the structure of the UCI's administration in 2019. We haven't had many new developments in 2020. That said, in November 2019, Vincent Jacquet took over the direction of international relations, solidarity programs, and the UCI World Cycling Center. These three areas are closely linked and needed to be managed under the same umbrella. As you all know, the UCI World Cycling Center drives the UCI's development policies and solidarity programs. For sure, this reorganization will enhance the quality of service you receive to develop cycling. In his speech, the President spoke about the transfer of the UCI's anti-doping operation from the CIDF to the ITA. I won't detail how this transfer would take place or go into detail about the benefits. But I would like to underline that we have put a lot of time into ensuring a smooth transition. The level of collaboration between the various stakeholders has been excellent, and I can confirm that the expertise developed at the CIDF is safe. From the 13 employees currently working at CIDF, 11 accepted to join the ITA in 2021. When it comes to ethics and governance, this remains a high priority for the UCI. And we are proud in this regard to be ranked among the leading international federations by the ASWAF in its 2020 review. This annual review assesses the governance of the federation, including transparency, solidarity, integrity, and gender balance. This result is just reward for the efforts made by the UCI over the past year and in line with our Agenda 2022. Just to let you know, we have been compared with other federations that often have more resources than we do. Our ranking is just a proof of the quality of our efforts, and we will continue this important work. Still on the subject of ethics, as you know, the UCI has also been awarded the first level of EDGE certification. You will recall that EDGE is the international standard for organizations in terms of workplace gender equality. We are the first international federation to achieve this level of recognition, and we are currently working to obtain the second level of EDGE certification in the next 2 years. And it's about work flexibility, equal pay for men and women, diversity, and prevention of harassment. We have also reinforced the governance of the UCI World Cycling Center. The aim is to ensure the well-being of the WCC's staff and trainees. Our main priorities are to implement an alert system and a program to prevent harassment. As I mentioned, the UCI has increased its control of the WCC and made it a much more integral part of the federation structures. Our objective is to set up a similar system for all cycling structures, including its teams. Another area where we are striving to make progress is diversity. We have seen the Black Lives Matter movement grow, both in society and in sports. The No to Racism slogan appeared in the peloton during this year's Tour de France. Our sport is relatively untouched by racism, and any misconduct in this respect is strictly dealt with. But we can do better in terms of diversity. Even if cycling has become a truly international sport over the last 20 years, we have to do more. In that time, and via the UCI World Cycling Center, we have worked extremely hard to increase the diversity of our sport. But we still want to do more in this area because it's an integral part of our values, and as the UCI's first female Director General and as a Moroccan woman, these important matters are very close to my heart. Moving on to the issue of safety at our road events, we have worked with the different stakeholders, riders, teams, and organizers. Safety was once again a key issue this year, especially in the shortened season. With so much at stake, In a short space of time, tensions were high. Safety is everyone's concern, even if organizers are on the front line. The season saw the UCI apply a zero-tolerance policy for any infringements, and our commissars were very, very strict. In the meantime, we held a number of meetings with all parties on security this year, and the key objective has been to draw up an overall plan for raising safety standards. The importance of safety in our sport will be reflected in the UCI staff structure, which is currently under review, and new safety measures are being developed for the 2021 season. As you can see, we have made progress on a whole series of issues related to the Agenda 2022 objectives. I've given you a quick overview of 2020, but there are a lot of other points that I've not been able to cover today. And I would just like to tell you that we are preparing a document covering all 300 of the Agenda 2022 objectives. This will enable us to assess how well they have been achieved, and we will present you this document by the end of the year. You will see that in the 3 years, we have largely or completely managed to achieve nearly all of these objectives. So what will 2021 look like? We will still be in crisis management mode. We will therefore implement the decision we have already taken in response to this crisis. And it's clear that 2021 will be another strange year. A lot of uncertainties remain, which means managing our activities will be complex. But we have successfully dealt with many of unforeseen matters in 2020, and we gained experience from that. So let's use this experience to help find solutions to the problems that may arise in 2021. We sincerely hope, however, that the situation will improve. The staging of the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021 will be crucial to that end. Now I would like to end on a note of optimism and hope. When the pandemic was at its peak, cyclists of all abilities had to make do without the passion. This was the case for elite athletes, leisure riders, and bike users. It was then that we had the idea of creating a hashtag to bring them together. Hashtag Cycling United was used by the members of cycling families to express solidarity with each other. During the pandemic and lockdown, bike lovers have been invited to share videos of their life on two wheels on social media. The video I'm going to show you now highlights the spirit shared by cyclists worldwide. This spirit unites us, even we are physically apart.
Hello everybody, it's Loic. I will be the coach of that spinning class. So if you want to join, you're welcome to join. Ciao.
And with that, I've come to the end of this report at this special Congress. I would like to thank our President, David Lapartien, and all the members of the UCI Management Committee for their continuing confidence. I would also like to thank all the UCI's employees for their commitment. They have displayed great flexibility and made sacrifices at a time of great uncertainty. Thank you to all our stakeholders, riders, organizers, teams, commissars, officials, and national federations. Despite the difficult context this year, we have managed to show our sport to the world. We have worked together to achieve this, and I'm very proud of this. A big thanks as well to all of you for your collaboration. I look forward to working with you all again, hopefully in a more positive global situation, to move cycling forward in line with our Agenda 2022. Thank you very much again, and see you all in Flanders in 2021 to celebrate the centenary of our World Championships. And please take care of yourself and of your families. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amina, for this full and detailed report on the 2019 and 2020, for one part, activities of the UCI. This video was also very nice, and I've been very happy also of what we have been able to deliver collectively in this 2020 season. And as we said, cycling is at the front of the bunch regarding all the sports worldwide, and we are very proud of what we have been able to deliver for all the disciplines. So, as it's mentioned in our constitution, the report from the Director General must be approved by the UCI Congress. So I will ask the question, but before, I just have to tell you that finally we have 45 voting delegates online. So 100% of our voting delegates are online. So congratulations to all of you, and the 3 missing delegates are now part of the bunch. So I will. Please navigate to the secure online Lumi voting system to cast your vote. The question is, does the UCI Congress approve the report on the UCI activities as presented in the 2019 UCI annual report? And all of you received this report. So please, the vote is now open. So for the 3 new voting delegates who were not present at the beginning, you have to move to the Lumi platform for the vote. Can we now close the vote? Patrick, or not yet? Okay, the vote is now closed, and we will make the announcement of the results. So 39 voting delegates took part in the vote, 39 in favor, so the report has been approved. So thank you very much, Amina, and thank you very much for your involvement in this difficult period of time for the UCI and the sport movement. We will now move to point number 5, which is the Ethics Commission report. Of course, due to the circumstances, the President, Bernard Fouché, is not able to be with us, but I know he's online. So hello, Bernard, and thank you very much for your report. And I want to congratulate you and all the colleagues, your colleagues from the Ethics Commission for what you are doing. We've got now a solid code of ethics, and we had the opportunity also to meet this year officially together with the President of the Disciplinary Commission to look also how we can improve the system, and more specifically when it comes to harassment or abuse and other trouble. We have the file contains the written report of the Ethics Commission chaired by Mr. Fouché. You have had the opportunity to read it, and the recommendation will be taken into account by the UCI Management Committee, and it's already an ongoing process. And I know, Bernard, that you have been also involved and questions by some continental confederations regarding the process for the elections in the different confederations. So thank you very much for all what you are doing with your commission. There is no formal approval for this report, but we just wanted to mention this report. You've got a very detailed report in your file. So thank you very much to what has been done to reinforce ethics in the UCI. We will now move to point number 6, which is the 2019 financial report and accounts. And we've got with us Jeremy Conrad Pickles. And Jeremy, up to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Vice Presidents, Management Committee members, National Federation Presidents and delegates, ladies and gentlemen. In the current context and the environment of this virtual Congress, I shall spend less time on the past results and focus on the current and future years. But before I do that, a quick review of 2019. In terms of headline numbers for 2019, the UCI and the UCI World Cycling Centre's consolidated revenues for the year were 40.7 million Swiss francs, helped by almost 9 million Swiss francs of marketing rights, higher than usual as a result of the direct sale of additional rights for the 2019 Road World Championships in Yorkshire. The UCI increased its net expenditure on development by 11%, reaching 7 million Swiss francs in 2019. The UCI ended 2019 with 41.6 million Swiss francs of consolidated reserves and 29.9 million Swiss francs of invested cash, in addition to 12 million Swiss francs of current account cash. A full commentary of the 2019 results is available on pages 108 to 111 of the UCI annual report, which was approved by the Management Committee in June and published on the UCI website on the 24th of July 2020. A hard copy has been sent to every federation as usual, and I trust that you have had time to digest the results. The consolidated operating result, a deficit of 6.9 million Swiss francs, was exactly in line with the forecast amount presented in Yorkshire. Additional costs relating to management reorganisation of the UCI World Cycling Centre, as well as an increase in provision for doubtful debts, were offset by increased other revenues and some savings on the Solidarity Programme. Our ordinary result was 1 million Swiss francs better than forecast as a result of solid investment performance in the last quarter, and we ended the year with a deficit of 3.85 million Swiss francs. Information about the President's, the Management Committees and staff remuneration can be found, as usual, in Note 2 on pages 129 and 130 of the annual report. Moving to the external and internal audit reports. As a result of the virtual setting of this year's Congress, there will be no spoken report from the President of the Audit and Finance Committee or from the external auditor. Their signed reports can be found on pages 112 and 114 of the annual report, and for the UCI statutory accounts on page 142. The external auditor's report to the Management Committee identified no significant matters. 2019 was the final year of KPMG's second four-year mandate, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank Messrs. Pingeon and Fagion from KPMG for their valuable collaboration over the past 8 years. Last year, Congress elected the firm Mazars for the 2020 to 2023 audits. I shall now provide Congress with an update on what we all know has been a very challenging 2020, the budget for 2021 and the prospects thereafter. As you will all appreciate, and as both the President and the Director General have already discussed at length, the postponement of the Tokyo Olympics will make a 21 million Swiss franc impact to our bottom line in 2020. In total, lost revenues as a result of cancelled events will total more than 33 million Swiss francs. Our savings of direct costs are expected to exceed 10 million Swiss francs, and our operating expense savings in excess of 3 million Swiss francs. When the COVID-19 crisis escalated in March, the UCI Cyclocross World Championships had already taken place, and thankfully, the UCI Track Cycling World Championships escaped by a matter of days. Whilst the global professional cycling economy made the rescheduling of the UCI World Tour calendar a critical step, from the UCI's own limited financial point of view, our priority since March has been to deliver the remaining World Championships, and especially the Road and Mountain Bike World Championships, both of which are key margin generators. As you can see on the bottom right-hand side of this slide, in spite of a 21 million impact from the Olympic Games, our bottom line result will be impacted by only about 20 million Swiss francs. The difference between the 21 and the 20 million franc reduction in profit is a positive impact of 971,000 Swiss francs that you can see detailed here. These are the differences between margins, revenues, or costs budgeted at Congress a year ago and our current forecast. The fruit of the incredible work rescheduling the UCI Road World Championships and the UCI Mountain Bike World Championships meant that we maintained our highest margin events, albeit at reduced margins. On the cost side, the support of the Swiss authorities, combined with decisive action taken by management, generated 6.5 million Swiss francs of savings on top of World Cup and World Championship event costs. We are satisfied to inform Congress that, excluding the Olympic Games, we have rescheduled events and managed costs in such a way as to ensure no further net negative impact in 2020. Since the UCI Management Committee in September, and the information provided to our members ahead of this Congress, further UCI World Tour events and UCI Cyclocross rounds have regrettably been cancelled. In total, these cancellations will impact the UCI's revenues by a further 550,000 Swiss francs. However, we expect to be able to achieve further savings to offset a major part of these additional lost revenues. We also know that the impact of the second wave of the coronavirus and the US elections make financial markets extremely volatile, and whilst the UCI's investments had more or less recovered early year losses by the end of September, our portfolio fell by about 2% in October, and we cannot rule out negative market movements in the last 2 months of the year. Congress will appreciate that the short-term outlook for 2021 remains subject to a great deal of uncertainty surrounding the global coronavirus situation. And in the past few days, the first UCI World Tour events of the year have fallen victim to the pandemic. The UCI's first major risk is the UCI Cyclocross World Championships in Ostend, and contingency planning is underway in that respect. The budget presented nonetheless assumes a full international calendar with the UCI's competitions taking place and, notably, the Olympic Games in Tokyo taking place. The budget does, however, assume that if the Tokyo Olympics do take place, the revenue we expect to receive will be lower than originally planned in 2020. Overall, the cancellation of the Olympics would have a bottom line impact of 18 million Swiss francs on this 2021 budget. Had the Olympics been cancelled rather than postponed in 2020, the UCI would have been entitled to insurance of 10 million Swiss francs from the International Olympic Committee. However, in the postponement scenario we currently have, the insurance cover no longer applies. The International Olympic Committee, as the President mentioned, have made an interest-free $5 million loan to the UCI, which will be repayable against the Tokyo revenues or, in case of cancellation, against the Paris 2024 revenues. In terms of operating expenses in 2021, management has maintained many of the structural savings implemented in 2020, reducing operating expenses by 1 million Swiss francs to 17.3 million compared to the original 2020 budget. Our operating result is budgeted as a profit of 13.5 million Swiss francs, including the 18 million Olympic Games margin. On this slide, you will see the projected reserves through to 2024 based on the budget presented, and on the following slide you will see the position should the Tokyo Olympics not take place. In the budgeted scenario, we expect reserves to be close to 60 million Swiss francs by the end of the 2024 cycle, with more than 40 million Swiss francs of investments. In the scenario that the Tokyo Olympics do not take place, and before making any other adjustments to our cost base or our investments in development, we nonetheless expect to comfortably maintain a cash investment reserve in excess of 20 million Swiss francs, and to have grown our reserves from the end of 2020 to the end of 2024. I'll pass back to the President for the approval of the 2021 budget, the 2019 annual report, and the audit reports.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for this clear presentation. You have all the documents in front of you. You've got this in your annual report. So we will have to move to the vote. For the 2019 financial report and accounts, for the Audit and Finance Committee report and Auditors report, and the 2021 budget. You have in this annual report that you already received by post or by email or virtual version, you have all the documents and everything completely detailed, more of course than in this presentation. So each of these proposals will be voted on individually on the secure online voting platform. The results, once the vote is closed, will also be displayed individually for each proposal. So voting delegates, please switch over the secure Lumix online voting platform, and you have 3 questions, 3 different votes. The first one is to approve the financial report and accounts 2019 as presented in the financial report of the 2019 UCI annual report. Second one is to approve the report of Audit and Finance Committee and the Auditor's report as presented in the financial report on the 2019 UCI annual report. And the last one is to approve the 2021 budget as provided to members prior to the UCI Congress. So let's, the vote is now open. Okay, so now we can, the vote is now closed. And we will have, after the vision of the scrutineer, we will have the results of the votes. So for the approval of the financial report, 42 members voted yes, so 100%. So this report has been approved. For the audit committee, audit and finance committee report, 41 vote, 41 yes. So this report is also approved. And the last one is the 2021 budget, 41 vote, 40 yes, 1 no. So the report, the 2021 budget is also approved. So thank you very much for your full support. Congratulations also to Jeremy, to all the members of his department, and thank you also to Rocco Cataneo, the president of the European Cycling Union, who is also the chair of the audit committee, and I can tell you is doing well for this, challenging the UCI management committee and the senior team. But that is his mission in your name of all the national federations. So thank you very much, Rocco, for this. So now we will move to the next slide, next point on the agenda, which is the federation annual subscription and classification, the affiliation fees. So we have formally to approve this. No increase from 2020. I think in this period of time, it's something we have to do. So no increase. Certain very small federations find themselves in Group 2 due to high GDP per capita or not having UCI World Tour team registration. If a nation of less than 1 million people, it's impossible to have more than a handful of federation license holders, and therefore revenues opportunities are very limited. And the UCI Management Committee proposed, and for validation to the Congress, that nations too of small nations, they will still remain in Group 2, but they will pay. The affiliation will be divided by 2. So you have now 4 groups, as it has been already the case. Group 1 is 5,000 Swiss francs. Group 2 is 4,000 Swiss francs, invoices by UCI to the national federations, so no change. For Group 3 and Group 4, it's 750,000 for Group 3 and 400 for Group 4. It's collected by the confederations and deducted by the UCI from confederation contributions. And the UCI Management Committee approved also, and this is submitted to the global approval, a reduction of 50% for Group 2 nations with a population of less than 1 million inhabitants, retroactive in 2020, and this is fully supported by the UCI Committee and the Financial Department. So I will, voting delegates, now please navigate to the secure online voting system to cast your vote. The question is, does the UCI Congress approve the national federations affiliation fees for 2021? No modification for compare with 2020. The only thing is 50% for the small nations of Group 2. So now the vote is now open. Can we close the vote? Tali or Patrick? Yes. So the vote is now closed. So we've got 49 voting delegates, 38 in favor, 3 against. So the affiliation fees for next year are approved. And thank you very much for your support. I think this concludes all voting today, but this not conclude the Congress in itself. We have still other report. Many thanks to all our voting delegates for participating and casting their votes through the secure online voting platform. And a comprehensive summary of the results of the vote will be available soon on the extranet of the national federations. So now we can move to point number 10, and I'm happy to tell you that we are a little bit more than 45 minutes in advance. And I will give the floor to the UCI. It will be the UCI World Cycling Center report, and this report will be in French by Vincent Jacquet, the director of the World Cycling Center. So, Vincent, up to you for the report.
Monsieur le Président de l'UCI, Madame la Directrice Générale, Mesdames et Messieurs les membres du Comité directeur, Mesdames et Messieurs les délégués votants, Mesdames et Messieurs les présidents et présidentes de confédérations et de fédérations nationales, chers amis cyclistes. J'ai le plaisir et l'honneur de vous présenter aujourd'hui le rapport des activités du Centre mondial de cyclisme en cette année particulière, mais tellement riche en réflexions pour le travail à mener avec vous dans l'avenir. J'ai eu la responsabilité de prendre la direction du Centre mondial de cyclisme au 1er décembre 2019, avec comme objectif d'impulser une nouvelle dynamique au sein des équipes, rappelant les fondamentaux de nos actions, à savoir détecter, former, performer, en lien avec l'ensemble des acteurs du cyclisme mondial. Faire rayonner le Centre mondial du cyclisme sur chacun des continents, renforcer nos liens avec les confédérations et les fédérations nationales, tel est notre challenge. La formation, action centrale de notre dispositif de développement, sera au cœur de nos préoccupations pour ces prochaines années. Et la situation Covid actuelle nous a permis d'accentuer nos travaux sur des outils et des méthodes adaptées online, comme l'a rappelé notre président. La revue complète et l'évolution des contenus de formation pour les cours d'entraîneur niveau 1 est finalisée. Et les cours en ligne sont prêts maintenant à être délivrés dans les 3 langues, anglais, français et espagnol. Nous accélérons notre travail de la même façon pour les cours de mécanicien niveau 1 avec une collaboration importante qui se profile avec notre partenaire Shimano. Les cours de commissaires nationaux sont eux aussi impactés par cette mutation. Ce nouveau mode de fonctionnement sera sécurisé pour ce qui est des procédures d'apprentissage et de certification. Seuls le CMC et l'UCI seront habilités à valider et décerner ces diplômes. Notre département formation du Centre mondial du cyclisme gère ce nouveau mode de fonctionnement en lien avec le programme Solidarité de l'UCI et reste à l'entière disposition des fédérations qui seront nos interlocuteurs privilégiés pour l'application de ces nouvelles méthodes de formation. Sur le sujet des relations avec notre réseau et au regard des incertitudes internationales, nous travaillons pour étendre nos outils online au niveau supérieur de formation. Notre objectif, comme l'a rappelé notre directrice générale, est de travailler autrement, avec de meilleurs outils. Nous souhaitons à ce titre mettre en place une plateforme d'échange et de ressources interactives avec nos fédérations nationales, mettant à disposition des méthodes, des tutoriels, des vidéos et autres guides d'accompagnement. Dernier point sur ce sujet de la formation, nous donnerons des rendez-vous mensuels à nos acteurs du cyclisme mondial par des webinars thématiques sur des sujets liés au développement des pratiques, qu'elles soient compétitives ou de loisirs. Les activités compétitives et sportives ont été réduites cette année après les mondiaux de Berlin et nous avons concentré nos efforts avec les entraîneurs du Centre mondial du cyclisme sur la détection, sur l'éducation, sur la formation et la performance de nos jeunes talents. Par ailleurs, les athlètes de la piste, de la route, du mountain bike et du BMX ont pu continuer à s'entraîner en Suisse ou à distance, tous à des rythmes différents. Pour certains d'entre eux, la difficulté a été de maintenir leur motivation en vue des Jeux olympiques de 2021 à Tokyo que nous espérons tous. Notre rôle est d'impulser une politique de détection ambitieuse et de responsabiliser nos fédérations nationales à cette action éminemment stratégique et importante pour l'avenir de notre sport et de nos compétitions. Là aussi, afin de favoriser au maximum une approche sécurisée, les protocoles de détection sont aujourd'hui uniformisés avec du matériel qui sera spécifiquement dédié à cet important dispositif. Le travail est maintenant orienté sur le suivi des jeunes détectés en lien avec les structures labellisées sur chaque continent, ainsi que sur la création de circuits de compétition au niveau continental pour les 14-18 ans. Et pour finir, sur l'accompagnement des sportifs, une base de données vidéo pour guider la préparation physique des athlètes de haut niveau sera mise en ligne dans quelques jours, impulsée par un travail commun avec les équipes du Centre continental en Afrique du Sud et celle du Centre mondial de cyclisme en Suisse. Au cours de ces 8 derniers mois, et malgré la forte faiblesse d'activité au Centre mondial de cyclisme due aux conditions sanitaires, nous avons maintenu un degré d'exigence sur la qualité de nos infrastructures et profité des emplois du temps allégés pour effectuer des travaux de rénovation sur la piste du Vélodrome, sur la piste de BMX. Nous avons aussi profité à construire une piste de pump track qui présente un fort succès auprès des jeunes, des publics loisirs, ainsi que des compétiteurs. Notre objectif est de promouvoir tant les actions d'apprentissage que celles d'entraînement et de haut niveau. Nos infrastructures sont ouvertes à toutes les pratiques et à tous les acteurs du cyclisme à l'international. Ces équipements sportifs sont aussi les vôtres et sont à votre disposition pour tous vos stages de préparation, qu'ils soient collectifs ou individuels, avec ou sans encadrement. Pour ce qui est des disciplines du BMX freestyle et du pump track, de nombreux liens ont été engagés auprès de la communauté des freeriders afin de travailler sur les générations d'athlètes et d'entraîneurs pour développer encore plus ces disciplines, dont l'une est olympique. Le Centre mondial du cyclisme a pour vocation d'accueillir sur site les athlètes prometteurs des disciplines olympiques, mais pas seulement. On se tromperait si les actions de détection et de formation étaient concentrées sur ce même lieu. Sa vocation première est de rayonner auprès des fédérations nationales afin de les rendre autonomes. C'est donc tout le sens que nous souhaitons donner dans notre relation avec les centres satellites. Sous le terme satellite, c'est toute notre stratégie de développement dont il s'agit, avec comme unique objectif de faire des satellites des relais de détection et de formation sur les 5 continents. Les axes de travail privilégiés sur les satellites sont directement tournés vers les jeunes sportifs, les formations d'entraîneurs, de mécaniciens, de commissaires, ainsi que des capacités à fédérer un réseau d'acteurs pour créer des courses et des compétitions. Le label est ouvert aux fédérations pour des niveaux nationaux ou continentaux, en lien avec les acteurs institutionnels des différents pays, à des structures de formation affiliées à leur fédération nationale, comme les clubs, à une structure compétitive de niveau amateur, continental ou World Tour, ce qu'on appelle des centres de formation. Cette stratégie de labellisation est donc positionnée sur une logique de projet de développement sportif territorial. J'en arrive donc aux moyens pour pouvoir concrétiser ces projets de développement. Le programme Solidarité a depuis 2018 impulsé une dynamique au sein des confédérations et des fédérations nationales en matière de financement de projets, de développement de formation et de dons de matériel. Comme vous pouvez le constater, l'évolution sur les dotations en vélo est très importante, passant de 80 la première année en 2018 à environ 300 maintenant en 2020. Nous arrivons maintenant à une vitesse de croisière d'environ 300 vélos par an, toutes disciplines confondues, chiffre nous permettant par ailleurs de suivre et de contrôler les affectations et les utilisations. Les actions de formation indispensables au projet de développement des activités du cyclisme ont elles aussi marqué une évolution régulière depuis 3 ans pour atteindre plus de 105 projets accompagnés et financés en cours d'évaluation ou d'évolution. Focus particulier sur l'année 2020, qui, comme vous le savez, ne s'est pas déroulée comme nous aurions pu le souhaiter. Je tiens à vous affirmer que les projets validés lors des comités directeurs de janvier et de juin seront assumés, avec du retard certes, mais totalement délivrés. La pandémie nous a donc amenés à repenser et à adapter la mise en œuvre de vos projets, à annuler certains regroupements et organisations de compétition, à réorienter nos cours online et repositionner notre soutien et notre accompagnement aux fédérations. Compte tenu des fermetures des usines de fournisseurs entre mars et juin 2020, des ruptures de stock dues à l'engouement post-confinement pour les activités du cyclisme, les dotations en matériel et la livraison des 300 vélos s'effectuera entre le mois de novembre 2020 et le mois de mars 2021. Vous découvrez le détail des différents modèles de vélos qui sont envoyés dans chacune des fédérations concernées. Et l'on peut remarquer que le nombre de VTT de BMX est en constante augmentation. Mais le plus gros des demandes réside dans les vélos d'entrée de gamme dédiés à la détection et à l'entraînement des jeunes talents sur route. Monsieur le Président en a parlé tout à l'heure. Nous avons le plaisir de vous présenter à ce titre le partenariat qui s'est conclu avec notre fournisseur Scott qui a consenti une série personnalisée, UCI Solidarity Programme, à un prix très attractif que vous découvrez et qui sera livré dès cette année. Ce vélo a toutes les caractéristiques d'un outil robuste, facile à réparer et répondant aux caractéristiques techniques d'un excellent vélo d'entraînement et de premier niveau de compétition. Pour finir et s'ouvrir vers des perspectives d'avenir, le Centre mondial de cyclisme a travaillé avec la commission Solidarité, présidée par le Dr Azam, pour entrevoir les futures stratégies de développement dans le cadre du programme Solidarité. L'UCI ne partira plus seul dans les projets des fédérations nationales, mais sollicitera un tour de table plus étoffé avec la participation des institutions nationales et locales, du mouvement olympique, ainsi que des partenaires privés du pays. Afin de se donner les moyens de réussir cette mutation vers un travail partagé et accepté par les différents acteurs, un groupe de travail a été impulsé par la commission Solidarité pour écrire un guide d'accompagnement des stratégies de développement des fédérations nationales émergentes. Basé sur le constat simple des composantes politiques, économiques et sociales, techniques et environnementales et juridiques qui entourent nos fédérations, ce groupe de travail aura pour objectif de construire un document concret, applicable et adaptable aux différentes situations, histoire et culture des pays pour mieux servir leur cyclisme. Ce n'est qu'à ce prix d'un travail collectif que nous arriverons à imprimer dans le temps des projets humainement et sportivement riches, laissant ainsi à nos jeunes générations un véritable héritage du cyclisme. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Vincent, for this very clear report from the World Cycling Center. As you know, we are very proud about our World Cycling Center and all what we are doing at the World Cycling Center. The 2020 season was not so easy for the World Cycling Center, but however, we decided to continue and to maintain our support to the World Cycling Center, including our financial support. If you take the accounts of the UCI without the World Cycling Center, we are able to have a balance in the accounts, but we decided to maintain our solidarity program. We decided to maintain our financial support to the World Cycling Center. As an example, it's every year normally an average support of 5.8 million Swiss francs, which is a lot. But this is also the goal and the mission of the UCI, and the World Cycling Center remains a very strong tool to develop cycling worldwide. And we have some ongoing discussions within the foundation board of the World Cycling Center, with the UCI Management Committee, and together with the President of the Solidarity Commission, my friend Dr. Mohamed Ouaghi Azam, to continue to increase the support to the national federations. And just as an example, because we have also some very good news in this difficult period of time, you know that 2 or 3 years ago, we detected a very young and talented rider in Trinidad and Tobago, Daniel Campbell, And at the time, with the International Relations Department, with the World Cycling Center, we welcomed her at the UCI World Cycling Center. She became professional for the first time this year, and she just signed in a World Tour team, the Mickelton Scott team. And this is, a dream that is now a reality, and she's qualified for the Olympic Games. And this is really our mission in the UCI, and nobody else or better than Teniel can just show what we are doing, and we are very proud about the support to her, but to so many athletes from the Caribbean area and from all the nations worldwide. The World Cycling Center has been created in 2002, so in 17 years or 18 years, we welcomed more than 2,000 athletes coming from more than 145 countries, and this is really the mission of the UCI, and this is probably one of the missions that make us very proud about what we are doing. So thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you to all the employees of the World Cycling Center, and thank you to all the national federations also for the support to the World Cycling Center. So now we will move to the report of the UCI medical activities. Worldwide, with the coronavirus crisis, it was difficult for some activities to maintain their job. But I would say for Dr. Bigard, it was the opposite. It was a very difficult year for him. He wanted to increase the number of hours per day, but it was quite difficult. So thank you very much, Professor Bigard, for all what has been doing for the very solid health protocol. And I know that you have been available for all our national federations, for the stakeholders, and now we will have your the report on medical activities. So thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Messieurs, Mesdames les présidents et délégués des fédérations nationales, Messieurs les membres du comité directeur, Mesdames, Messieurs, je voudrais par ces quelques diapositives vous donner un aperçu des activités médicales de l'année qui s'écoule et qui ont été, comme vous pouvez l'imaginer, largement ponctuées et marquées par le retour à la compétition de l'ensemble des disciplines du cyclisme face à la pandémie de coronavirus. Ce retour à la compétition a été rendu possible grâce à la rédaction de protocoles stricts qui ont été rédigés au sein de groupes de travail, et en particulier pour la reprise de la saison sur route. Le groupe de travail dont vous avez la composition au bas des copies de documents que vous avez sur l'écran, ce groupe de travail a permis de dresser le cahier des charges de reprise de ces compétitions. Le principe général qui a résidé à la rédaction de ces documents, le principe général repose sur la constitution de bulles d'isolement autour desquelles nous allons protéger l'ensemble des membres entrant et constituant ces bulles. Au centre du dispositif, nous avons une bulle course constituée de coureurs et de membres de l'équipe, de conseillers techniques, de membres de l'équipe autour de ces coureurs qui vont constituer cette bulle course. Cette bulle course elle-même est entourée d'un certain nombre d'autres bulles, comme une bulle constituée de journalistes, de personnes impliquées dans la diffusion de l'information sportive, donc de médias. Deux autres bulles qui sont des bulles constituées de membres d'organisations, d'officiels, de commissaires, et en particulier d'officiels UCI. Et enfin, une autre bulle d'invités, de personnes VIP, qui sont très à distance de la bulle 1. L'ensemble de ce dispositif que vous avez reporté ici sur cette diapositive a été celui qui a été adopté pour les derniers championnats du monde sur route d'Imola. À l'origine donc de ces bulles, il faut bien évidemment réaliser des tests biologiques qui vont permettre de vérifier l'absence de portage du virus pour toutes les personnes entrant dans ces bulles. Donc cette première étape de test a été diffusée très largement pour l'ensemble des compétitions sur route pour lesquels nous avons exigé 2 tests PCR négatifs avant de pouvoir intégrer les bulles courses. Ces tests sont réalisés dans des laboratoires disponibles dans les différents pays, mais aussi sur place dès lors que, au cours de certaines épreuves, et ça a été le cas pour les grands tours, des laboratoires mobiles tels que celui que vous voyez apparaître sur cette diapositive ont été disponibles tout au long de la course. Une fois ces tests réalisés, une fois l'absence de virus contrôlé, vérifié sur les membres de ces bulles, il faut évidemment entourer l'ensemble de ces bulles d'un certain nombre de précautions de manière à éviter toute contamination avec ces virus. C'est la raison pour laquelle le maintien de la distance physique, l'application de gestes simples de lavage de mains, de portage de masques, mais aussi beaucoup plus sophistiqués d'organisation de l'hébergement dans les hôtels, de réorganisation des zones départ et des zones arrivée, ont permis de maintenir l'isolement et d'éviter la contamination par le virus des membres de ces différentes bulles. Toutes ces actions qui ont été définies dans ces documents et qui ont été appliquées sur le terrain pour l'organisation de ces compétitions ont été classées en 3 catégories. Des mesures qui ont été définies comme étant obligatoires, certaines recommandées et d'autres souhaitables. Cette classification en 3 catégories de ces mesures a été définie en fonction du degré et de la sévérité de la pandémie. Nous avons défini 3 niveaux de pandémie, un niveau de risque modéré, un niveau de risque faible et un niveau de risque très faible. Clairement, tout au long de la saison 2020, les courses se sont déroulées sous un risque de pandémie qualifié comme étant modéré. Donc, la très grande majorité des mesures listées dans les documents que nous avons publiés étaient obligatoires et ont été mises en œuvre de manière systématique par les organisateurs. Certaines difficultés ont émergé sur le terrain, au premier rang desquelles la nature des tests à proposer, le type de test que l'on a choisi, qui n'a pas été toujours bien facile à réaliser dans les différents pays, compte tenu de la mauvaise disponibilité en laboratoire dans certaines contrées, dans certains pays ou dans certaines régions, de toutes les difficultés que nous avons rencontrées pour réaliser nous-mêmes un contrôle de la réalisation des tests Covid et certaines difficultés dans la confirmation du diagnostic de tests positifs pour certains membres d'équipe, pour certains coureurs, avec un certain nombre de discussions scientifiques que nous devions avoir avant, bien évidemment, d'exclure une personne de la course pour des raisons de sécurité médicale. Nous avons aussi encouru un certain nombre de difficultés liées aux conditions d'hébergement dans les hôtels que nous avions exigées, l'organisation des zones de départ, mais surtout des zones d'arrivée, et de la sécurité sur certains points de passage, comme vous le voyez sur cette diapositive, notamment certains sommets de col, dont l'accès était fermé aux voitures, bien évidemment, mais non interdit à pied, donc un certain nombre de difficultés parfois pour maintenir la distance physique nécessaire entre le public et les coureurs. Mais d'une manière générale, tout s'est bien déroulé tout au long de cette saison. Nous avons réalisé à peu près, un peu plus même de 15 000 tests PCR, donc de tests Covid, tout au long de cette saison, au cours de l'ensemble des courses sur route et de 2 championnats du monde. L'ensemble des courses sur route, soit à peu près une trentaine de courses chez les féminines et un peu plus de 95 courses chez les hommes, avec un résultat là aussi assez satisfaisant, 54 cas Covid positifs que nous avons retrouvés à l'approche ou pendant les compétitions, soit une prévalence de 0,38%. et 50% de ces cas positifs survenus chez des coureurs, soit une prévalence de 0,19% de tests positifs. Je vous rappellerai qu'actuellement, dans la population générale, le pourcentage de tests positifs est estimé entre 15 à 20% suivant les pays. Donc une prévalence très faible parmi les coureurs et les membres d'équipe, et ce, grâce au travail extrêmement important des organisateurs, à la motivation de l'ensemble des équipes, la motivation des coureurs et la motivation, bien évidemment, des médecins d'équipe eux-mêmes qui ont réalisé un travail tout à fait remarquable pour la reprise de la compétition sur route. Nous avons de même publié un certain nombre de documents nécessaires à la reprise des compétitions en BMX, en mountain bike, en piste et en cyclocross. Ces documents sont maintenant disponibles, ou pour 2 d'entre eux vont l'être dans les prochaines heures, disponibles sur le site internet de l'UCI, avec une petite différence, ou une différence notable et importante malgré tout, comparativement au protocole route. Pour l'ensemble de ces disciplines, les mesures que nous avons listées dans ces documents ne sont que recommandées. Seules 2 mesures sont impératives, la définition par les organisateurs et leurs conseillers de l'état de la pandémie dans les pays dans lesquels se déroulent ces compétitions, premier point, et deuxième point, une analyse de risque réalisée conformément aux recommandations de l'OMS qui ont été définies dans un document dont vous voyez les références au bas de l'écran. Cette analyse de risque va permettre de donner un aperçu du risque pris par les organisateurs vis-à-vis de la pandémie de Covid-19. Cette analyse de risque repose sur la définition de 2 facteurs. Un premier facteur qui est lié à la sévérité de la pandémie dans le pays et un deuxième facteur qui est lié à l'étendue des mesures qui sont mises en œuvre par ces organisateurs. Et sur un tableau tel que vous le voyez apparaître sur l'écran, ici en couleur, avec une double entrée, on peut définir un risque global quant à l'organisation de cette compétition. Et vous avez, par exemple, ici apparaissant sous le rectangle rouge, le risque qui a été pris quant à l'organisation des derniers championnats du monde de mountain bike à Leogang. Le risque était considéré comme étant faible, compte tenu de l'état de la pandémie et compte tenu de l'étendue des mesures qui avaient été mises en œuvre par les organisateurs. Deuxième grande action médicale en cours de l'année, la finalisation d'un protocole commotion en cyclisme. C'est une étape pour nous aussi extrêmement importante qui va dans le sens de la sécurité des compétitions et du maintien de l'état de santé des coureurs. Ce protocole commotion a pour objectif de réaliser un diagnostic le plus rapide possible de la commotion cérébrale après une chute, d'optimiser et de finaliser la meilleure manière et les meilleurs protocoles de récupération après le diagnostic de commotion cérébrale et de définir un certain nombre de critères qui autorisent le retour à l'entraînement et le retour à la compétition. Une particularité de ce protocole, c'est d'identifier un certain nombre d'actions à mettre en œuvre, ou tout au moins à connaître, par des non-professionnels de santé, des professionnels du cyclisme, l'ensemble des personnes qui sont autour d'une course, autour des équipes, autour des coureurs, y compris des officiels et y compris des coureurs eux-mêmes qui doivent connaître un certain nombre de gestes de manière à faire ou à orienter le plus précisément possible le diagnostic initial de commotion cérébrale. Ces protocoles commotion vont avoir un certain nombre de particularités en fonction, bien sûr, des différentes disciplines du cyclisme. La première étape de ce protocole commotion et du diagnostic rapide de commotion cérébrale consiste à identifier un état d'obnubulation, un état de communication difficile ou carrément impossible avec le coureur qui d'emblée va devoir extraire le coureur blessé de la course et suspecté de commotion cérébrale. C'est la première étape qu'il faut absolument reconnaître. Et tout un chacun doit reconnaître cette étape. La deuxième étape, toujours sur le site de la chute, au moment de l'accident, c'est de reconnaître au sein de cette petite liste qui va être rendue évidemment beaucoup plus attractive pour être diffusée auprès de tout le monde, de reconnaître des signes de gravité qui vont conduire là aussi à l'extraction du blessé de la course, à l'extraction immédiate de la course. En l'absence de ces signes de gravité, le coureur pourra reprendre la course, mais le soir devra subir un examen neurologique, un examen fonctionnel, notamment des grandes fonctions neurologiques, suffisamment précis par le médecin d'équipe pour pouvoir étayer le diagnostic, c'est-à-dire confirmer l'absence de commotion ou au contraire retrouver des signes de gravité qui sont apparus secondairement et qui vont conduire à des examens plus poussés en secteur hospitalier. Après cette évaluation initiale, le jour de la course, le jour de l'accident, ces examens, et notamment ceux de la troisième étape, devront être répétés le lendemain, le surlendemain et au moins une fois dans la semaine qui suit, de manière à dépister l'apparition retardée de signes qui seraient des signes suspects de commotion cérébrale décalés dans le temps. Cette notion existe, il faut la connaître et il ne faut pas s'arrêter à uniquement des examens le jour de la chute elle-même. Des actions sont obligatoirement à développer pour nous maintenant, notamment des actions d'éducation et de formation à ces gestes élémentaires qui doivent être connus de beaucoup. Notamment, je reviens sur la diffusion de ces informations auprès de non-professionnels de santé, de manière à assurer le diagnostic le plus précoce. Donc, enseigner bien sûr les médecins, enseigner les secouristes, mais surtout, encore une fois, les non-professionnels de santé. Et une autre étape aussi est absolument essentielle et importante pour nous, qui va dans le sens du maintien de l'état de santé des coureurs, c'est d'assurer la meilleure traçabilité médicale possible de ces accidents. Donc, réaliser un répertoire de ces accidents, et notamment des cas de commotion cérébrale en fonction de leur gravité, de manière à dresser un historique personnel des commotions pour chacun des coureurs, pour chacun des participants. Troisième point que je souhaiterais évoquer avec vous, ce sont les résultats du programme Tramadol, programme qui s'est déroulé au cours de l'année 2019 et au tout début de l'année 2020. Je vous rappelle tout simplement que le tramadol est maintenant interdit depuis le 1er mars 2019 pour toutes les disciplines du cyclisme en compétition. Au cours de l'année 2019, nous avons réalisé un certain nombre de contrôles sur des prélèvements de gouttes de sang séchées, que l'on appelle DBS. Ces prélèvements ont été réalisés en compétition. Approximativement 670 contrôles ont été réalisés en 2019, principalement au cours de compétitions sur route, mais aussi sur quelques épreuves de BMX et de mountain bike. Sur un peu plus de 310 coureurs, essentiellement des coureurs appartenant à des équipes World Teams, mais aussi des équipes Pro Teams, sur 13 courses par étape et 5 courses d'un jour, ainsi que sur 3 championnats du monde. Au cours de cette année 2019, nous n'avons retrouvé aucun prélèvement positif pour le tramadol. Donc, aucune sanction. On peut penser que le programme a été une réussite, au moins au plan dissuasif. Il y a eu en effet, à l'évidence, un effet dissuasif de l'usage de cette substance qui explique les raisons pour lesquelles nous n'avons pas retrouvé de contrôle positif au cours de cette année. Je vous rappelle pour mémoire que le tramadol est intégré dans le programme de surveillance de l'Agence mondiale antidopage qui évalue tous les ans sur des échantillons d'urine la présence de tramadol au cours des contrôles antidopage réalisés de manière classique. En 2017, 4,4% des échantillons positifs pour le tramadol étaient retrouvés en cyclisme, 4,3% en 2018. Et en 2019, les résultats ont été publiés en 2020, 1,12% des échantillons positifs étaient retrouvés pour le cyclisme. Il y a donc eu une diminution extrêmement importante de la prévalence d'échantillons positifs en cyclisme qui est tout à fait concordante avec les résultats que nous avons obtenus uniquement sur des coureurs de première et deuxième division. En 2017 et 2018, le cyclisme expliquait 68 et 56% de tous les échantillons positifs, quels que soient les sports, quelles que soient les disciplines. En 2019, plus qu'un quart des échantillons positifs, 25% des échantillons positifs globaux étaient expliqués par, ou tout au moins étaient retrouvés chez des coureurs et chez des coureurs. Donc ce résultat était évidemment extrêmement favorable. Des contrôles tramadol ont évidemment été réalisés aussi cette année sur l'ensemble des courses qui ont été organisées au cours de la saison. Les résultats jusqu'à présent sont tout à fait conformes avec ceux de 2019. Nous n'avons retrouvé aucun contrôle positif au cours de cette année 2020 et nous croisons les doigts pour qu'il en soit de même au cours des années suivantes. Voilà, je voulais par ces quelques diapositives vous donner vraiment un aperçu assez large de nos activités au cours de cette année 2020. Je vous remercie pour votre attention.
Thank you, Professor Bigard, for this clear report and for your involvement this year. As I said, it was a difficult year for all of us, but I'm very happy to see the results that we have regarding the COVID test. As it has been mentioned in your report, 0.19% of positive cases among the riders. So, of course, it's far away and much more less than what we have in normal population. It's also just a demonstration that we have a very strong health protocol and that when we follow this protocol, the results are good. So thank you for this. And for the tramadol, we will continue to push to have the tramadol on the WADA list. It's still not the case, but we want to have this on the list. But we have also, with the slide you had in front of you, you can see that we divided by 4 the use of tramadol in cycling. Now we are in the average number of other disciplines. It's also probably the demonstration that the tramadol was used before. So we will continue to push for this, and I think it was a good decision from the UCI. We will now move to point number 12, which is the CADF report and the presentation by the ITA. You've got the CADF report in your documents. You received this complete and detailed report from the CADF. You can see that we had 15,000 each year, around 15,000 tests, which is a lot. And cycling is always in front of the bunch regarding anti-doping. But however, now we can see that the networks are worldwide, that we need to also increase intelligence and to probably share some information with also other international federations. And this is why we took the decision by unanimity of the UCI Management Committee, by a vote with secret ballots, to join the ITA. And we are very happy to welcome today on floor the CEO of the ITA. And I will give him the floor. His presentation will be in English. So up to you, Benjamin.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Madame la Directrice Générale, merci pour cette invitation. Dear National Member Federations of UCI, it's a pleasure to be with you today. I obviously hope that we would have been together. So good evening, good afternoon, good morning for wherever you are. It's an honor, obviously, for me on behalf of the ITA to be here with you today. Obviously, the fight against doping and the fight for clean sport is a key component of everything we do, and I know for a fact how important this is for cycling, who has been impacted in the past, and so I acknowledge the huge responsibility that we have at the ITA. So, dear Mr. President, on behalf also for your management committee, thank you for the trust that you have placed on us. It's a huge responsibility, and we will live up to it and make you proud, I'm sure. We have 10 minutes together, so there's a lot to cover, so I'll try to be really fast. I know that some of you may not be extremely familiar with the ITA, so I'm just going to spend a few minutes to explain who we are, although your president has already briefly touched upon who we are this morning. I'll spend a few minutes on that, and then the rest of my presentation will be on how we see the future together as of 1st January 2021. So we have been established, as your president said, by under the leadership of the International Olympic Committee, with the support of the World Anti-Doping Agency, but also many other constituencies of the Olympic movement, the National Olympic Committees, the Association of Summer Olympic International Federations, athletes groups. So there was a call to establish an independent testing agency, and we have been established since 2018 as a not-for-profit foundation based in Switzerland, and our main mission is to deliver anti-doping programs independently from the sports or any other political powers to any international sports federations, major event organizers, or other organizations that need anti-doping support. Our history is a little bit different from UCI's history in that, but somehow also similar. I think UCI was a pioneer in considering that it was fundamental to have independent and professional experts to manage anti-doping, and UCI was at the forefront by establishing the Cycling Anti-Doping Foundation already back in 2008. The Olympic movement altogether needed a few more years to take the same decision and realize the importance of that approach of having professional and independent experts managing anti-doping on behalf of sports organizations, and that's why there was a call, after also a number of doping scandals, there was a call by the Olympic movement altogether to make anti-doping operations independent from sports organizations. And so we were established in that context around the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games in 2018, and we became officially operational on 1st July 2018. Our vision is very clear. We were established and we want to be the world leader in the delivery of anti-doping program for sports. So that is our vision. Our mission, obviously, is to constantly deliver anti-doping programs with the highest quality, always in a professional and innovative manner. And this is what we will be doing for you, and always abiding by our values of integrity, excellence, and equality. Why equality? Because we feel that every athlete should have the same opportunity to participate in a fair and healthy competition, and so we're going to treat athletes the same way, whether they come from Africa, Europe, Americas, and that is also key to our mission. I will not go too much into our services. They reflect what is and what are the obligations under the World Anti-Doping Code. So we cover all the ranges of services and expertise that we need to deliver compliant anti-doping programs in line with the World Anti-Doping Code. So this goes from rule drafting to prevention and education program to testing in and out of competition to every scientific and medical matters around anti-doping, and of course all the legal expertise that we need to then prosecute cases independently from sports organizations whenever there are positive cases. We also manage large-scale major events like the Olympic Games, and we will do that in Tokyo next year, and that is also a very specific expertise that we have. Just for you to see and understand, I hope you can see on your screen, it may be a little bit small, but this is our organization. We are organized with, as every foundation in Switzerland, with a foundation board. Our foundation board is, and I will show you here, comprised of 7 members. 4 members are independent and 3 members are representatives of the IOC, the international sports federations, and the athletes. The 4 independent members come from a different background. background, and we're very pleased to have the chair of our board, Dr. Valérie Fourneron, who was, among many other things, a sports minister in France and medical doctor in sports medicine, and so she is leading the board at the moment. We're also very happy to have a WADA observer in our board, a non-voting member, but nonetheless very important for us to build extremely strong relationship with the World Anti-Doping Agency, and this is going to be important as well for the UCI. Then, as an organization, obviously our departments focus on testing, on major events, on science and medical, intelligence and investigations, all the legal work, of course, and compliance. Education is a key component of an anti-doping program, and of course, information technology and all the security that goes with it. The ITA today is about, we're about more than 50 now. We will soon be 70, so it's growing extremely fast with 23 nationalities, more than 20 languages. So I'm confident that wherever you're from, we will be able to speak your language. And so I will be looking forward to also being in touch with you and answering and supporting you in the best possible manner. We have almost a quarter of our staff has a PhD in anti-doping sciences, so we want to demonstrate and show our expertise, our professionalism and knowledge in anti-doping. This shows you a snapshot of our partnership, so you may not be entirely familiar with the acronyms, but ASOIF is the Association of Summer Olympic International Federations, and so we today currently manage the anti-doping program for 20 international summer Olympic federations, and so I'm pleased to see that UCI will be within this group moving forward. So let me now focus on 2021 and what we've been doing to manage UCI's anti-doping program moving forward. First, and we were aware, obviously, of the expertise of the Cycling Anti-Doping Foundation, and so when we started the discussions with the leadership of the UCI, it was extremely clear that what we wanted to achieve is not to somehow destroy all the good work that had been done by the CADF. So for us, it was critical to not have you choose between CADF and ITA, but to build and to join forces to build a joint program and a joint future for cycling. So the idea was to convince all the staff of the Cycling Anti-Doping Foundation to join the ITA, and for the ITA to create a dedicated cycling unit composed of those experts, but also then supported by all the other departments of the ITA, so that you could really get the expertise of the CADF personnel, but also complemented by all the other expertise that we have at the ITA. And I think I'm convinced that this is a winning formula for you, and that we will see many benefits of that to promote the exchanges and really leverage the expertise that the CADF personnel has acquired over the years. So this is the organigram that you've seen before, and in gold, this is the cycling unit. And the cycling unit is just a reflection of what it is today. There is a head, there's a director of this unit, and then there are different I would say units within that at CADF, so testing, intelligence and investigations, and then of course the administration function and the support function. So this is going to remain, but I think this slide in itself shows you what we will be able to achieve, because you have in gold the current CADF, but you have around it many other functions and supports that will bring additional benefits for UCI. So with the same investment that you have today, you then receive many more benefits, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that very soon. I'm going to take a few examples here of what we're doing together and what we plan to deliver for you already. So Mr. Lapartien mentioned the importance of intelligence and investigations, and so we're building a bigger unit with more capabilities, and I'm already very happy to inform you that CADF and ITA together this year have been able to develop a brand new whistleblowing platform that we will be offering to all of you, so that you could have, of course, that on your relevant websites and really encourage your community to come forward and tell us what's going on the ground so that we can act and protect your sport and your athletes. We mentioned new testing techniques, and one of them is the dry blood spot. And one of the benefits also that I want to bring to UCI is that we need to test this new testing method. And one of the idea was to test it in Tokyo, but we cannot test it at the Olympics for every sport. And so we want cycling to be again a pioneer and at the forefront. And we would like to pilot the DBS, the dry blood spots, on cycling exclusively in Tokyo, making it the only sport that will, and the first sport that will use DBS potentially in Tokyo. So we would be looking, and this is our proposal, and so I'm hoping that we can make it work. There's many other things. Unfortunately, we don't have time, but we have also built a centralized facility for the long-term storage of samples, allowing for their reanalysis many years after their collection. And today, CADF has a bunch of samples stored in many different laboratories around the world, and it's extremely costly, very difficult to retrieve, to reanalyze, and so we will be also offering typically that to the cycling family, to the ability to store their sample in a centralized long-term storage facility at minimum costs and with a maximum efficiency. We're training, certifying doping control officers to also protect your athletes, and so we will be also offering that to all the doping control officers of the CADF in the future of the ITA. So you can be rest assured that all your athletes will be tested by trained professional, and that is as well extremely, extremely important. So for us, 2021 is Tokyo, hopefully, if the games can be held. We heard Thomas Bach earlier today, and I think he was confident, so I'm hoping this can take place, and so this will be also an event that the ITA will manage, and with the newly created cycling unit, so I'm looking forward to seeing the many benefits of that. Finally, and this would be my last slide, my objective is to ensure that with the resources that the cycling family invests today in its anti-doping program, that with the same investment you receive a lot more in terms of prevention and education programs, in terms of medical and scientific approaches to what we can do in cycling. And so I'm really confident that by bringing the experts of CADF within the IT umbrella, we will leverage your expertise and we will deliver much more than we have been able to in the past. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully the next Congress we will be in person and we can meet and I can answer all your questions. So Mr. President, I think that concludes my report. Thank you again for the honor of having me today.
Thank you very much, Benjamin, and thank you very much for this very clear presentation. On behalf of the UCI, we look forward to working with the ITA next year, and I just want to mention one or 2 points. As you said, you have a dedicated cycling unit within the ITA, and among the 13 people who worked actually at the CADF, 11 of them, though 11 among 13, will join the ITA. So we will not lose the expertise from the CADF, as you mentioned, and that's clear. We don't have any seat in the board, as you saw, and the goal was also to reinforce the independency of anti-doping to be more cost efficient, more efficient, and we recognize what has been done by the CADF, and I'm sure that 2021 will be also very important for us for anti-doping, and that we will be ready at the beginning of the season. So thank you very much to you, to your board, and I'm sure that we will deliver a very strong anti-doping message as we've always done in cycling. So thank you very much. So now we will move to point number 13, which is the UCI World Championships awards, and before we have a small video, all the World Championships awarded since the last Congress in Harrogate will be found in your file. You have, I will just mention the 14 of them. The 2021 UCI Mountain Bike Marathon World Championship have been awarded to Isola d'Elba in Italy. 2021 UCI Master Mountain Bike Marathon World Championships will be in Il Ciocco in Italy. 2022 and 2023 UCI Masters Mountain Bike World Championship in Villa La Angostura in Argentina. 2023 still submitted to a small point regarding some point with the National Federation. The UCI 2023 UCI Junior Track Cycling World Championship are awarded to Cali in Colombia. 2024 UCI Paracycling Track World Championships to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. 2024 UCI Cyclocross World Championship in Tabor, Czech Republic. 2024 UCI Mountain Bike Marathon World Championship to Snowshoe in the US. 2024 UCI Grand Fondo World Championship to Aalborg in Denmark. 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championship dans le canton of Valais in Switzerland, in our garden. 2025 UCI BMX World Championships in Copenhagen, Denmark. 2025 UCI Cyclocross World Championship à Liévin, en France. 2025 UCI Grand Fondo World Championships Regional Victoria in Australia. And 2025 UCI Mountain Bike World Championships in Val di Sole, Italy. And now we have a small video for this presentation. So I hope you enjoy this wonderful video, and congratulations to all the cities, and we will be very happy to join these different cities for the future UCI World Championships. Just a message, normally we were supposed to award at this 2020 UCI Congress the 2025 UCI World Championship in Africa. We are not able to proceed with this due to the crisis. So this one, plus the 2026 UCI World Championships, plus the 2027 Global UCI World Championships with all the disciplines will be awarded next year in Belgium, and together with around 25 UCI World Championships. And thank you very much for all these candidatures coming from worldwide, and for the 2025 UCI World Championship in Africa, for the first time ever after 125 years. I know that Dr. Azam is waiting for that. We have two very strong bidding cities, Kigali in Rwanda and Tanger in Morocco. So now let's move to the point number 14, which is questions and proposals by national federations. We received before the deadline two questions. This is on the platform of the national federations. The first one is coming from I will speak in French for the first one and in English for the second one, because the first question was in French. Elle nous vient de la Fédération du sport cycliste luxembourgeois et de la part de son président Camille Dan. Donc vous avez la question qui est ici en face de vous. Elle a été posée régulièrement par le président Camille Dame lors des congrès de l'Union cycliste internationale. C'est notamment une demande récurrente des fédérations nationales pour qu'elles soient dédommagées et soutenues de leur excellent travail à la base qui permet aux structures professionnelles d'avoir des coureurs de qualité. Et on l'a vu dans le Grand-Duché, vous avez de très bons coureurs qui ont été formés dans les clubs. Je pense notamment à Andy Schleck, Bob Jungels ou bien d'autres. Et donc, il est souhaité qu'un certain pourcentage des sommes générées puisse revenir aux fédérations et aux structures qui l'ont fait. Alors, je souhaiterais vous rassurer sur ce point, c'est bien dans l'intention de l'UCI et très clairement, ça devait être opérationnel pour l'année 2021. Nous avons eu quelques discussions et au regard de la situation un petit peu compliquée au niveau économique, tout ceci a été reporté, on va dire, d'une année, mais nous avons bien acté le principe, y compris au Conseil du cyclisme professionnel, y compris dans la réforme du cyclisme professionnel, que nous aurons, pour les coureurs qui passent professionnels dans le World Team ou dans les équipes continentales professionnelles, alors nous aurons donc une rétribution vers les structures qui auront formé ces athlètes. Après, charge aux fédérations nationales de déterminer quelles seront les structures qui auront formé ces athlètes, les fédérations elles-mêmes, leurs comités régionaux, les clubs, les équipes continentales. Donc il y aura un travail pour déterminer cela, mais les montants seront fixés par l'Union cycliste internationale. Et donc je peux donc répondre positivement à la demande de la Fédération du sport cycliste luxembourgeois en disant juste que compte tenu des circonstances, ceci a été légèrement décalé dans le temps, mais le principe a été voté et je pense que c'est une bonne chose. Nous avons, now we have a second question, and with 4 questions among these. It's a question from the General Secretary from the Ukrainian Cycling Federation. So you've got you will have the 4 questions. The first one is how the UCI be providing support to national federations for 2021 due to the pandemic of COVID-19 in the world. So the first thing is we are not able to provide a financial support. We provided financial support to our continental confederations. We maintain our solidarity program to the national federations that are in category 3 and category 4, and this has been maintained even if the financial results are completely different. We expect the financial result of the 2020 year to be around minus 4.8 million Swiss francs at the UCI level. So we are not in a situation to give a financial support to all the 196 national federations. But the fact that we have been able to deliver a big part of the activity is also in itself an answer to the support to the national federations. But of course, we know that the situation is difficult for everybody, and we don't have the financial surface, I would say, to help all the national federations. But we maintain our financial support to solidarity program at the UCI level. The second question, which is the longer one, is also to finally underline what is the, and I don't know if we have this second question on the screen, but the second question is just to underline the difference that we have in between some national federations. They mentioned that, for example, big countries like Italy, France, Germany, or Great Britain, they have sometimes a budget more than 15 million euro, where the budget of the Ukrainian Cycling Federation is around 70 or 80,000 euros. Of course, it's a big gap, and I know also that all the national Olympic committees, they receive also financial support from the IOC, so maybe a way for you to have some financial support. And as I just said before, we are not our solidarity program worldwide is only 5.8 million for all the national federations, covering also the World Cycling Center in itself. So that's a little bit more difficult for us. Unfortunately, I would love to have a big financial situation that will allow us to give more financial support to the national federations. And this is finally the link with your third question, which is you were asking for a financial return on broadcast TV or TV rights, or as an example, you can now move to the third question on screen, which is the TV rights, and you compare also with the FIFA and UEFA. I just want to clarify one point, because of course I know in all the national Olympic committees you used to speak with your colleagues from different federations, and among them, of course, with football. But they can explain to you the financial support that they receive from the FIFA or UEFA. Our budget is only 1% of the budget of FIFA, so that's a reality. And our budget is more. It's a big budget compared with small international federations. But however, it's only 1% of the FIFA. So, I would love to have the same financial reserve at the FIFA to be able to contribute to a strong solidarity program more than what we do. But I can't do more than what we are doing, and just 1% is small. But also the IOC, to give you an example, the IOC is giving 90% of their revenues to the stakeholders, national Olympic committees, and maybe a way for you to have more financial support to the IOC solidarity program. And some athletes, they receive this financial support, and also to international federations. And these funds that are missing for the 2020 season. So just to give you where we are. But of course, we will try to continue to increase. But however, I can't do more for the moment, and more specifically with loss of 4.8 million that we expect to have in 2020. And the last point is, can UCI expand the format of UCI Solidarity Program, taking in account the urgent need for a car, for example, for your federation, where you have a very old car or 3 very old minibuses with more than 400 or 500,000 kilometers. So I know when I was also the president of the UEC that we provided some buses to at least 10 or 15 national federations in Europe at the time. So it was very good. I hope you can benefit from this. I remember at the time Ukraine was the country in Europe that received the most important financial support from the UEC. But our UCI Solidarity Program is not specifically to buy this kind of equipments, because we don't have the financial surface to face finally this different request. But we will continue. This was one of my promises when I was elected as president of the UCI, to increase the Solidarity Program. This has been done. Of course, we can always continue to do more, and the more revenue we will have, the more we will share with our national federations. This is the goal. This is the goal of the UCI Management Committee. This is my goal. And we try also to reduce the cost at the UCI headquarters to spend more with the development of the national federation. So unfortunately, I'm not able to answer as positively as you want to your questions, but be reassured that the UCI will continue to support the national federations. So this was the point 14 and the questions and proposals by national federations. Of course, in a normal Congress, we have a lot of questions coming, from the room. It's not possible with the virtual Congress, but I'm sure that next year it will be possible, and that we will be able to be together. And we will move to the last point, which is the closing of the Congress. So I would like to thank the members of the UCI Management Committee, my 3 vice presidents, and all the delegates of the national federations, and all the voting delegates. It was my pleasure today to be with you, together with Amina Lanaya and the staff from the UCI. And I know that we have 150 national federations online today. Of course, it would be better to be with a face-to-face meeting, but it will be the case next year. I'm looking forward to meeting you again next year for the centenary of the UCI Road World Championship in Flanders, Belgium. I'm sure that you can see this wonderful picture. I'm sure that the Belgium Cycling Federation will welcome us in a perfect manner. And I wish you all the best. Please be careful with the virus, and we will be strong together. Keep unity among the cycling family. And I will now declare the Congress closed and see you as soon as possible. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you very much to Natalie also, because she prepared with the International Relations Department all this Congress. Thank you to all the UCI staff, to the for also everybody for the translation, and hope to see you soon. Take care, and we will continue to drive, I would say, the UCI in the best way and to face this very difficult period. Thank you to all of you. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.